Uh-oh, it says we are on the air. Phoenix says the time is meow. Him and Gary or George must be upset that we're running late. But I promise we will go 4 minutes later than we were going to and make up for it. So how's it going, guys? What's going on? What's new? What's new and unusual? Got Gizzards out there. Lost Explorer, how you doing? Nice to see you. C4, you're out there. You're in here. Gary, Gizzard, you're out there. In here. Ape, you're out there. Snowy, you're out there. What the hell are we even broadcasting this for? We might as well just do the hangout and be done with it. Jorge's here. Okay, Jorge's here, so that it counts now. It matters. Now it's important. We got somebody out there.
Oh, I'm supposed to let you know Lost Explorer is my woman, so if Gunpowder comes in, they're not allowed to plot together.
Oh, Lost Explorer, huh? Did she forget where she parked her SUV one day or something? She could
get lost in a paper bag.
We'll delete that part so you don't get in trouble. Pretend he didn't say that.
Oh, she's standing right next to me. She's making a drink in the kitchen. So.
All right. So we got I sent a truckload of links out, and I think we have some pretty cool topics. I have some other stuff too. We can go, do whatever tonight, but the first 3 are in the description. If anybody out there wants to take a look at them. But first off, let's Tardot got a little one sleeping.
Yeah, that one looks wore out.
That one's spent. That's what happens to me when I listen to Tardot shows. I look like that. Except my belly's a little bigger, a little furrier.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So let's we'll move from on my side right to left. Tardot, what's going on, buddy? Why don't you say hi and tell us about yourself. Tell us about your show.
Hi, I'm Tardot. I like long walks on the beach. So not really much. Just check me out on Tardot 357.
There you go. Sleepy time, man. I wish. Snowy, what's going on, buddy guy?
Not too much. How's everyone doing?
We're good. Crack open a Red Bull here so I don't fall asleep and we'll be okay. C4 Defense, how you doing, Sarge?
I am doing good. I appreciate the invite. My name's Sarge, C4 Defense. Do terrible online videos and teach conceal carry. That's me.
They're terrible now? I thought last week they weren't terrible last week, were they?
Maybe I've graded up to just bad. Maybe that's where I'm at.
When you hit average, we're good to go.
See, that's next on the horizon.
Gizzard Gary, what's going on?
Well, thanks for the invite.
You're sitting in the shadows there, buddy.
What's that?
You're sitting in the shadows there, buddy. There we go.
Better?
There you go.
Gizzard Gary, gizzardgary.com. I do mediocre videos and out of control live content.
But that out of control live content is no longer available to watch. You got to catch them. You got to catch them live, right?
Yeah, you got to be there. Never
That's
more
right.
applicable than it was the other night.
I know that was pretty brutal. That was about as rough as it gets.
I think yesterday night started getting pretty close, though.
There's foul territory, and then there's out of the park. That one was out in the parking lot somewhere, I think.
You have to rename that and put it up on somebody else's channel.
Well, it's supposed to be Hatfield's chat, so I did it in the spirit of Ellis. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That'll work. Fine Ape, what's going on, my simian friend?
Not a whole lot. Thanks for the invite. You can find me on YouTube, FineApe1393, and the same on Instagram. Actually, if you go over to my Instagram, you'll see that I posted some content from the Reed's Gun Fair in Minnesota. I would highly recommend you, if you're in that area, go and check it out.
Grim's yelling at me because I'm drinking a Red Bull and not a little tiny water, but I do have my Grim mug. So there you go. I gotcha. And we got a newcomer, Boomer's here. You might know him from Sarge's live streams. And I want to know, how the heck did you get the call name Ammo? How did you luck out and get that? You had to be signing up for that like 20 years ago to get that, huh?
Well, it's been doing that career field for, I think I got out of the military in 2000, and always been into technology. And so the ammo career field that I was in, we're all ammo troops. And I think the ammo career field has been around since, wow. Actually, we were known as ammo troops back in the 50s or something like that. So big, tight family in that way. So as soon as YouTube came out, I kind of snaked it. I've got ammo on a lot of things when it first came out. My tags say ammo. So
there you go. Yeah, I couldn't even get my damn email to match my channel name. I had to do a different email. Stupid YouTubes, stupid Gmails. So what's just for people that don't know you? What's are you doing? You doing videos? What's your channel about? What kind of content do you do, or what do you like to do?
Just getting started on that. Sarge has got me starting on it. Got all my stuff lined up to get everything started here soon. So was a firearms instructor and was 10 years in the Air Force in the munitions career field. So just finally getting started into it. Hopefully putting up some stuff here soon, though.
Cool. Very cool. So we'll see if anybody else shows up. Like I said, I got a bunch out there. Something else that we talked about too was, and maybe if we get a decent viewer count over there, if we want to do story time, we could always do story time. And there's a lot of viewers out there that have never heard any of the story times. Some people probably don't know what it is. It all started on Never Enough Ammo's chat. And it was a shit hit the fan story time, post-apocalyptic, goofy story of survival. It was done by Rock Humper, if you know Rock Humper, and Matt read it. And then after Rock Humper's was done, I wrote one. So I thought if people thought it was now that I have a panel, if you guys were into it, I would read mine, and that would be a good time. But let's see what's going on in the chat here. First of all, we got two hotties showed up. Black Cat, you got a link, buddy. If you want it. Grimm's out there, of course. If Mrs. Grimm shows up, remember, talk nice about him. He's been saying great things about her, Calaveras says, I'm corking gun gals. Really? No, I'm not corking. First of all, it's corking, not corking. Corking is what you do to a bottle of wine, you Neanderthal. And no, this is my time slot. I had a 10:30 time slot before gun gals was even a thing. So let's not talk too much trash out there. Edge is out there. Jorge, like we said, is out there. Georgia Rebel, how you doing, buddy? So we can get into it here. We'll get into some of the topics. One of my I was, want to talk about food a little bit. It's what I do. And I thought it'd be fun. And I get this question all the time. What's my favorite food, or what's my favorite thing to make, or what's the best thing I have to make, or the best thing I made or ever made. And that's really hard for me. Because, things change so much. Calavera says the Travi are trying to take over the world. We must resist. They can run their chat 24 hours a day if they want to, but we're going on at 10 o'clock. I'm not waiting. William Stanley, how you doing? So, things change. I do different food. I do like all these things. Trends happen. Trends change. So for me, I might have something that I did a month ago that was the most awesome thing I think I've ever done, and tomorrow I might do something that I like better. But for the average person, I think there's always one or two things that that you maybe go back to from a childhood where you made it, or your mom made it, or your grandma made it, or your grandpa, or something like that. So I thought it'd be a fun little topic to talk about with the panel too, or the chat too. You guys throw something in there, a little description. We'll read it. What's the one or two things that you remember that is like your go-to, that's your kryptonite, that's your unicorn food? Like when you go over to your mom's house, or when you went to a family get together, what were you like, God, I hope this is there. If this isn't there, I'm going to throw a fit. I thought that'd be kind of fun. Patriot and Dark's out there. Oh, he's talking smack. Oh, look, Midnight. Him and his big old britches with his fancy panel. You want a link? You can have a link, buddy. You'd be like the missing link. Edge says top ramen casserole. You do a lot of fun stuff with ramen. Did you see Jimmy James's ramen burrito? That was pretty cool. That was different. So whoever, we don't have to go in any particular order. I don't really care. If anybody wants to go, we can. Hey, Biker Bob, what's going on? You guys have anything that sticks out in your head?
I got one.
Well, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tordot.
I was just going to say, as far as me cooking, it tends to be chicken fried steak.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Chicken fried steak is kind of the go-to for me. You know, Gunpowder has cussed me out for not making it because I don't make it as often as I should. Now, as far as like if like my mom, like when I'm going over there for Thanksgiving, Christmas, pretty much any major holidays, birthdays, things like that, it's very simple, but it's pea salad. I love pea salad.
I think I heard you guys talking about that the other day. You and Gunpowder were talking about that.
Yeah, because she was talking about broccoli salad, and I told her, you know, it's almost like pea salad, but using broccolis instead of necessarily peas. But yeah, everybody does it their own way.
Yeah. The Lost Explorer. I forgot who that was. That's Snowy's. Oh, Snowy's. I say it, and I say it with tongue in cheek because I hate I hate the way it sounds. But that's Snowy's old lady. It just makes me think of like an old biker couple. You know what I mean? Just like on the back of a Harley going, "This my old lady." She says a fluff salad with cherries, whipped cream, marshmallows. Is that kind of like an ambrosia salad? If you know what that is, ambrosia is like coconuts, or not coconuts, shaved coconut, whipped cream. Usually throw marshmallows in there and some like orange segments and stuff like that. Kind of sounds like that a little bit.
It's similar, but not quite the same.
Yeah. And then Edge is saying picadillo. I love picadillo. Now I'm trying to think. Picadillo, is that that has the olives in it, I believe. It's Cuban. I could be wrong, but if it's, I actually know a guy that owns a small Cuban restaurant, and they do. If picadillo is what I'm thinking of, it's awesome. If that's what I'm thinking of, and it's just like a meat dish, almost like a sort of like a braised meat, sort of shredded or even ground beef, I think, and then it's spiced up garlic and onions and all that jazz, and then olives, heavy on the olives and olive juice. It's really good, just served with rice. If that's what he's talking about, I love it. That's a good one. Ghost Tactical's in the house. What's going on, Ghost? How you doing? There's a link out there for you if you want it. You're more than welcome. And Ghost's birthday was yesterday, and Two Hotties' birthday is today. I forgot about that. Georgia Rebel says cheesecake.
Mine would be my grandma's potato salad and my grandpa's spaghetti and meatballs, all homemade. So that's always been my go-tos.
Does he make the pasta too, or did he make the pasta too?
He used to. Once he kind of got to the end of his the end of his lifetime, he didn't make it anymore. The thing that sucks about that, though, is my sister's the one who's closest to replicating it, but he never wrote any of the recipes down.
Right.
So now it's trying to go through and get the exact recipes back, because I have yet to find a sauce that actually matches anywhere near his.
Yeah, and that's tough, man. I'll tell you what, it's super tough to recreate something without the recipe. Especially when you think about it too, a lot of the pans are different. Like you talk about, like, some of our grandparents, might have used only like cast iron or something like that, or they cooked on gas when you're trying to do it on electric, or the other way around. That makes a huge difference. You wouldn't think it would, but it really does. And that's where you come into one of those things where you could use the same ingredients with the same recipe, and sometimes it doesn't even turn out right. There's some variables in there that you might not be able to control. Biker Bob says key lime pie. I would not have thought that at all, that Mr. Canada himself up there would be rocking the key lime pie up there. That's a good one. Yeah. Calavera says go ahead.
I thought it would have been beer for Bob.
Beer and maple syrup, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Gizzard, you had something. What were you going to say?
Well, there's an awful lot of things that I crave from time to time, but the one thing that I beg my daughter to make for me, like on my birthday and stuff like that, she makes these chicken cheese enchiladas baked. Oh my God, they are just the most wonderful thing in the world. And I have to beg her to make them because it's a huge mess and it's pretty expensive too. But it's worth it. I mean, it's a diet killer for sure, but you know.
Yeah, there's stuff like that where yeah, the special things are special for a lot of different reasons. Like one that if you ate it every week, you'd have a heart attack and die, or you'd go broke making it. The Lost Explorer says it took me a year to get used to electric after learning to cook on gas. Yeah, electric is rough. Electric versus gas versus induction is really hard to get used to when you go from one to the other. The induction ranges, the new ones with like the glass tops, are pretty cool, and everybody thinks they're awesome. But they generally are a pain in the ass for heat because instead of, you can set an electric range to a certain temperature and it stays there. Gas to a certain temperature and stays there. A lot of the induction ranges will, if you've had one medium, they'll turn up high and then they'll go low, and then they high and low. And it's hard to sear. It's hard to get an even cooking temperature. They're a real pain in the butt. They're not a good way to go if you're a big home cook. And Phoenix says his girlfriend says applesauce cake, whatever the hell that is. That could be a couple of different things. A lot of people will use applesauce in cakes to cut down the amount of fat and add moisture. Phoenix or Ape saying it's gingerbread cake smothered in applesauce. That sounds really good. That sounds good. Like kind of almost like a
confused. Mr. Matt is here.
There you go, Mr. Matt. What's going on?
There goes the chat.
I sent you an email, Mr. Matt. Did you see it?
No, I have not.
Oh, you're quiet too.
Maybe you drunk out the chat.
Hang on.
No. What else we got there?
No, for me, it's kind of a toss-up.
Chicken man likes to eat chicken. That's creepy cannibal Calaveras out there. Yeah, go ahead, Abe.
Well, one is my aunt makes this coleslaw with horseradish sauce. It's the best coleslaw I've ever eaten.
Sounds cool.
And yes, I'm going to go all Minnesotan on you here and talk about the hot dish. No, it's this hash brown and cheese hot dish. It's like hash browns, ham, cream of cheese soup, cream of mushrooms, or cream of chicken soup, and a little bit of sour cream and butter. Bake it. It's good. Stick to your rib food. And used to be able to eat half a 9x13 pan of that by myself.
So it's like hash browns on the bottom, almost like a crust?
No, you mix it all together. You just mix it all together in a glass pan, put it in an oven at 350 for an hour, take the top off for an additional 15 minutes, and it kind of makes a nice little golden brown crust.
That sounds cool.
I'm disappointed now. I would have expected like banana cream pie or something.
Yeah. The bananas and Nella wafers.
Sir, I am so triggered that you species assume that all primates like bananas. I happen to hate bananas. Their texture reminds me of shit. The only thing I do eat is eat banana bars and dry banana chips.
Yeah, there you go. We get the banana chips for my son, like the dehydrated ones, and he loves them. Matt, do you have a favorite food? We're talking about favorite foods. We're talking about like a food that, if you go to a family reunion or a family gathering or something, it's like, and you go and your aunt usually makes something and she doesn't, and you're super pissed off about it or whatever. Like what's one thing that you just look forward to,
Oh shit. Well, first off, is my volume better now?
Now you're pretty low. I can turn you up though. Hold on. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Wiggle the rabbit ears a little.
Yeah. I'm new to this stuff.
Jiggle the dongle.
Don't talk about his dongle. He's a married man.
That's okay. Somebody's got to.
There you go. Try that.
How about now? You better?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, a little better.
Good to go now.
Okay.
I was
Look
gonna
at
say,
me,
my ratings are the same as they always are, so I don't know what's going
I
on.
am so technically savvy. You guys have no idea.
There you go. Favorite food? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I am the one that makes all the food. Like,
Yeah, no, you're the cook, right?
I'm, I don't have a huge family. I didn't grow up with a lot of family. My wife's family is the like my extended family. And the favorite stuff that I have at any, holidays or whatever is always the shit I make. Like my food's always the best food. And I don't say that, I'm not trying to, it just is. I grew up, my mother, grandmother, they taught me how to cook when I was young and taught me how to, improvise on anything, take a box of macaroni and cheese and make it taste 10 times better than it normally does if you just do a few things to it, right? Like that's how I grew up, is just kind of improvising on recipes and food and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, it depends. My absolute favorite food is Mexican food, and whether it's, making homemade tacos or burritos or nachos or whatever, those are always like, that's my top tier stuff right there that I if it's a special occasion, it's got to be spoken about on the list. Outside of that, I mean, it's cheesy corn for Thanksgiving with copious amounts of all different types of cheese mixed up with corn. There's the turkey. There's just, I mean, I don't know. My Christmas lasagna is, I do a slow cooker Christmas lasagna. And I can do it with or without the pasta. I can replace the pasta like my wife likes it when I replace the pasta with spinach, layers of baby spinach.
That's cool. That's a neat idea.
And just all kinds of stuff. I like to get creative with the recipes.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is one of those things that's kind of how I think about it too. Like every year, and I do Thanksgiving, you sit down and eat, you're like, God damn it, why do we only do this once a year? Are we stupid? Why are we like, why don't we do this like once a month? This is ridiculous.
See, but with that all said by Matt, I sense that Midnight needs to come to the next Gun Channels get together, and we need to have a cook-off.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'll tell you what I thought about, and I thought it would be super fun if they would let me do it. If we go to Tulsa, was one of my favorite things. I love to compete. Okay, I've done a bunch of competitions, cooking competitions, and different types. Some where they're like mystery baskets, like Iron Chef kind of stuff, and some of them we bring certain things and assemble them there or whatever. But when Travis was doing his tabletop breakfast review, I thought it would be fun as hell to just like raid that continental buffet and try and make some like more upscale gourmet kind of fun stuff out of it. I thought that would be super cool.
Yeah.
I thought that would be fun.
Now look, you can't, like, I'm not trying to compete with old fucking, Iron Chef over here and shit. Like, I'm sure he can outdo me in the fucking kitchen. Ain't nobody, but we
will make the decision on that, sir. We will make that decision.
Oh, okay. All right. Sure. That's fine. I'm down. I don't mind coming in second to Travis.
Yeah,
it'll still be good either way.
Nah, and that's the thing. It's fun. And I'm a pretty competitive person. I hate to lose, so I get pretty cranky. But yeah, Papusa Pro out there says he's down for an Iron Papusa competition. That doesn't sound good at all.
It's gotta be something fun. It's got to be creative. And see, again, this is where I would lose, but it's got to be like, best mac and cheese or something. It's got to be something simple as its premise, at its base, that you can do a lot with.
Yeah, and that's where it's kind of funny, because some of the hardest competitions that I've done, are ones with the simplest ingredients. They give you chicken or something. I had one where I got chicken and shrimp, and it's like, that's easy. It's easy to cook chicken and shrimp. Who the hell can't cook chicken and shrimp? But to make it, something outstanding, something cool, something like eye catching, and that was actually a pretty hard 2 ingredients to have to use. But
so for me, like chicken and shrimp, for me, it's and I'm like this regardless of what you're talking about. It's not about the main ingredient, right? Like for me, the burger is really about the burger. Beef, patty, great. The burger's not about the burger. All right. It's about what you put on the burger. All right. The mac and cheese isn't about isn't about the pasta, right? And it's not necessarily about the cheese. You can always spice that up. You know, it's about what you do to it, what you add on. That's why I love that fucking mac and cheese video that you got. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So you know, to me, it's the accessories to your meal that make it something special. It's not. It's not the burger. It's not the chicken. It's not the shrimp. It's what can you throw together with it? You know.
Yeah, it's technique and it's flavor combinations, and yeah, it's fun. Scott Pacini saying Gun Channel's Iron Chef. That would be honestly, that'd be some fun shit to do. Like, yeah, if you get people together, the hotels seem pretty much, you know, open to let you guys, you know, run the joint.
We could have pulled one of the rooms out to, like,
yeah.
We could have got it wouldn't have taken much. You can run to Walmart and get a couple of cooktops. You know, there's a whole lot we could have done if we had wanted to.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I say we leave it for next time around at Tulsa, because that's a damn fine idea. And I think as most of the people watching can tell, we all love to eat. We don't have to talk about it to know that. So
doesn't take long to get a food chat.
You're not going to have to do a lot of a lot of convincing to get us to go. Let's do a cook-off.
Let's drink and slam a bunch of food together.
Yeah, let's make pizza.
Oh, don't twist my arm. Yeah.
So, C4, what do you got going on over there?
All right.
Don't tell.
We're talking
what's
about,
your favorite MRE?
No. We're going to talk about going to a get together. You mentioned it before, ambrosia. My grandmother used to make the best ambrosia. And all you do is just try to get through the meal to get to that ambrosia. But there was something else she used to make that I really like, and like I make it every once in a while. And you may have a different name for it. I don't know what most people call it, but she called them Popeye eggs. And they were take a piece of bread, and you cut the center of it out, and you put it in a pan, and you start to toast it, and then you put the egg, you crack an egg and put it in the middle, and
toad in the hole.
Cook through.
Yeah, toad in the hole.
Toad in the hole.
So,
yeah.
And
I've heard somebody else call it something else too. But same thing. Yep.
Yeah, and a little bit of salt, some syrup on that. That was absolutely wonderful. I think back to that a lot. So those are my two.
Eggs are one of my favorites too. Like over easy eggs. I love over easy eggs. Yeah,
a true over easy egg.
Yep.
Not a miscooked one. Yes.
Yep. Sometimes the simplest stuff is the stuff that you, when you have it, you're like, God damn, that was just so good. So
those are my two.
Who we got left? Boomer.
For me, for Mom, it was her potato salad and deviled eggs. It was just, nobody's ever been able to recreate it, even though I have the exact recipe and I've tried. It's mother's love, I think, that goes into it and makes it different. But those are my can't miss dishes, and if they're not there when we do have a gathering, it's sorely missed. And that's from me, from every family member, my two sons. They've grown up with it. But I think one of my favorite dishes, and this is Sarge's fault, is we were in Florida, and he introduced me to the Cuban sandwich. I'd never had one before, and it was he said this is the best place in the world to get them from. This one little bitty off the wall. We were drinking our rear ends off at that time of our lives, and his mom was gracious enough to supply everything in the world we wanted to drink, and hustle back and forth to this restaurant 2 or 3 times, I think, that night, and get us Cuban sandwiches. And oh my God, it was just the start of a bad search for another Cuban sandwich that could equal what we had down there, and it never has been found. But I love those things.
It's tough because there's a lot of awesome stuff out there. There's a lot of great things, but there's so many good sandwiches out there. Cubans are awesome. A Reuben is one of my favorites. I had a Reuben once at a Jewish deli in Jersey. I can't remember even what it was called. It was a really well-known place. Where they made their corned beef, and they got in a really nice thick cut marble rye, and it was super crunchy. They just did everything right. And a good Reuben is one of my favorite things. It's killer. It's awesome. But yeah, it's funny how most of the time people, when you ask them their favorite food or the thing like this, exactly what we're doing now, it's almost never anything extravagant. It's almost never anything like fancy. You know, it's 99% of the time it's something that, you know, everybody goes, oh, okay, yeah, that's good. But they've never had the one that you're talking about that is amazing, you know, and that's kind of fun. That's cool. Did we get everybody? We hit everybody?
Yeah, I think we went all the way
So,
through.
right? Very cool. Anybody out in the chat have anything cool? There, see, you're talking about Florida. Havana's Florida. Oh, it makes sense, man. you would think there'd be pretty good Cubans in Florida, right? Patriot in the Dark says etouffee. Phoenix is saying pastrami on rye from a proper deli. Pastrami's good stuff, too. Ozark saying, in my ground beef, I mix raw egg, a little barbecue sauce, Van Zant's or Mrs. Dash seasoning. Is that like for like burger? To make like a burger? Almost kind of like a barbecue meatloaf burger. That'd be good if that's what you're talking about. If that's not what you're talking about, let me know. I'm a big fan of meatloaf burgers. I'm a big fan of burgers that have stuff mixed into them. If you want to watch a good video, check out my mixed up burger. It's got blue cheese and bacon and caramelized onion and roast red peppers all mixed in. Slamming.
Oh, I got to tell you about something that I just had the other day. Maybe you'll appreciate this. I had an actual ham burger. It was a bacon cheddar burger, and it was ground ham with cheddar in it, and it tasted like bacon. It was a burger that the whole burger tasted like bacon. It was like ground up bacon formed into a burger with little chunks of cheddar, and I threw it on the grill, grilled them up like I would a normal burger, except it just all tastes like one big chunk of bacon. It was delicious, and I can highly recommend it.
There was
get that
Walmart of all places.
There you go.
Walmart,
I am going.
It was like $500. It was like $5.50 for a pack of 8. And they were in the over in the I just stumbled across them in the meat section. They weren't frozen, pre-packed or anything. It looked like it didn't look like the pre-packed frozen stuff. It was over in the meat section in the refrigerated section. I don't know if they do it there. I don't know. Probably not. I doubt it. It's fucking Walmart. But
Walmart, that's all shipped in. But yeah, it's a little more fresh than the rest of it.
Yeah. So, but it was good. I don't, that's not something I've ever tried before. But it was. I was like, okay, it's gonna taste maybe like a sausage burger or something. I wasn't sure. You just chop, but no, it's legitimately, it's ground bacon. It tasted just like bacon. There's no way to get around it. It tasted like bacon. The entire burger tasted like bacon. Which by the way, godsend.
There was an episode of I forget what it was. One of the food shows, and this burger place was doing a burger, and I've tried it, and it's pretty awesome. They'll take bacon and put it in raw bacon, put it in a food processor, and kind of chop it up. Not to the point where it's like a puree, but it's pretty finely chopped up. And then they'll take a burger patty and put it on the top and wrap it in plastic wrap or something. I guess you wouldn't have to wrap it in plastic wrap, but it works better because then it kind of like sticks to it. And then they cook it with that bacon side down. And it just gets like it's like a bacon crusted burger. That was the same thing. That was like, holy crap, that's good. And it kind of like, it kept the burger moist because it didn't like have direct heat on the meat. You know what I mean? It was like cooked through through the bacon. Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised by the one I had just because it said bacon cheddar, and I was like, all right, fine. But it's ground ham, right? So I'm like, it's not really gonna taste like fucking bacon, right? Like it's gonna taste like ground ham, not bacon. No, it legitimately tastes like bacon. And I'm just saying, I was impressed. I was impressed. So
that's cool. Apes out there saying fried bacon wrapped meatloaf. That would be a good one.
There you go. See,
Budget saying diners, drive-ins, and dives. You're right. It was. It was Knucklehead with the crazy hair.
here's the thing. I'll challenge anybody out there to come up with a single food item that tastes better than bacon. And when I say single food item, don't say chocolate, because chocolate is like a bunch of shit thrown together to come up with chocolate, right? Like you got beans and shit. You got to name one single food item, just a food item that is as hello.
Sorry about that.
Hola.
Hello, you're on Talk Radio.
Hola. No, name one other food item.
We're going to Kansas City. Gary, go.
Tastes as good that you can just eat by itself and feel completely satisfied and satiated by.
I'll tell you, if you have the ability to shop around for different, if you have somebody that like a meat guy that makes his own or something like that, if you can search out dry cured bacon, do it, because dry cured bacon is.
I've had the bacon jerky, which also is amazingly delicious, by the way.
Right.
How close?
Normally when bacon's mass produced, they take the pork belly and they'll brine it, or they'll inject it with the liquid, a liquid with the nitrates in it and stuff. If you can find a place that does it dry cured, they basically just season it and pack it with the nitrates and stuff, and it draws out some of the moisture, and it becomes really like dense. And now the only thing is, if you like really crispy bacon, it tends to not crisp up as easily, because it's like, it's real meaty. But we use a cherrywood snaked, no step on snake, cherrywood smoked, dry aged bacon for brunch, and it's amazing. It's really amazing. So if you're a bacon lover, try and search out something like that to try. It's going to be more expensive because it actually loses weight because you're drawing out the moisture. It loses weight, and then you gain weight by eating it. So, I mean, it works out, but, that's pretty cool.
There's a place in Memphis where my brother lives. I think it's called Dyer's, and they deep fry their burgers in like 90-some-year-old remnants of their grease. They never change their grease. So it has all the flavor from everything they've deep fried for 90+ years that they've been in business. And so they deep fry the burger for just a little bit, and then they lift it and put just a little bit of that juice on the bun. And he says they're the most amazing thing he's ever had, because all that flavor that's been in there for eons.
Well, it's like roadside places that use cast iron or something, and you never really wash cast iron. You don't really. A lot of places don't. You just kind of wipe it out, and then if it needs to be scrubbed or whatever. Traditionally, you don't want to get them wet because they rust. So if you put a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt in it, and you use the salt as the abrasive to clean them, and then just wipe them out, and that's it. So that flavor stays in the pores of the cast iron. And that's what I was saying earlier about, like, if your grandfather made something and he used cast iron, you might never get it to taste right. The way that you remember it if you don't have that pan, and that's pretty awesome. It's almost like a recipe ingredient in itself. That's pretty cool.
I caught my first wife scrubbing my barbecue grill one time, and I lost my mind.
Yeah.
No.
It's like putting kitchen knives in the dishwasher, and they come out. And
but people need to understand there's a difference between washing and maintaining. My mother-in-law thinks you don't have to maintain cast iron, to the point to where I've seen some of her cast iron where there's still like there's buildup there,
right?
Like old tortilla and shit that just. And I'm like, you understand? You need to maintain your cast iron. You don't have to throw it in the dishwasher, but there's a way. And what I like to use is, take a lemon or a lime cut in half with the salt, and use that, rub it down, and then once you get that and you wipe it out, and you get all the debris off of there, and then you wipe it down and give it a little oil. I put a little oil on there, rub it down with oil, and then throw it in the oven for 30 minutes at 150, something like that, and let that oil kind of bake in there. But you have to maintain cast iron. There's some people that just don't understand that there is some maintenance there. You don't have to wash it, but you got to take care of it. If you take care of it, it's going to last a lifetime. It's going to last longer than any other pan you have, and it's going to make food taste amazing. But you have to know what you're doing. But if you save bacon grease, which I do, use bacon grease to grease your pan when you're done scrubbing it. You'll thank me later and for the rest of your life.
See, that's something I was going to get at. Was I love cooking when we cook breakfast using the cast iron skillets, and pretty much cook the eggs in it, cook the bacon in it, cook the sauce, just cook everything in it to where you're getting all those flavors mixed together.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
absolutely. I cook the eggs in the bacon grease.
Yeah.
I don't dump out the grease when I'm done with the bacon. I cook the bacon first, and then I just cook the bacon. And you also you get kind of what I like to do after I've cooked the bacon. I turn the fire off. It's lots of hot bacon grease in there, and I throw the eggs in there. And because I'll cook half a pound of bacon at once easily. And depending on if everybody in the house is going to eat, well, fuck, you cook the whole thing. Yeah. And you're basically, what do they call it? When you throw eggs in boiling water, what's that called?
Poaching.
You're basically poaching your eggs in bacon grease.
It's almost like oil poached. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just you turn the fire off, let it cool down just a little bit before you throw the eggs in there so that it don't burn. You don't want that fried egg edges and stuff. And you just throw them in there with the hot oil after a couple minutes of it being off the fire, and it basically poaches the eggs in hot bacon grease, and best damn eggs ever. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing. I'll tell you what's funny. You're talking about seasoning your cast irons. If you work in a restaurant, and you have the ability like we do, we have the deep fryer. We've gotten every once in a while, over the years we get a cast iron because it's nice to sear certain things in a cast iron. Like if somebody orders a Pittsburgh steak, which is like burnt on the outside and rare in the middle, or raw in the middle, or very rare, cast iron is the best to do it. And we've gotten I got a cast iron just for that, and I just brought it in and took the plastic wrap off it and threw it in a deep fryer. just submerged it right in the deep fryer. And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I'll season it right." Yeah. Nothing. You're gonna put oil in it and put it in the oven. What the hell? Just dunk it in there and be done with it. Easy. Let's move on.
What's the timing for a deep fried frying pan?
Yeah, and I guess you want it well done. I guess 45 minutes to an hour. I don't know, but it'll definitely do the job. Obnoxious one. All these men talking about cooking. Don't you have wives? Yeah, we do.
Why are you offering obnoxious?
Yeah, get you a pretty orange dress and you'd be good to go.
I was gonna say I got a leather shirt that he can come put on and he can stand in my kitchen and cook for me.
You're reaching like it's right beside you there. That would be really weird, I'll tell you. He's like, I got a leather skirt right here. Black Cat says, I'm Wilford Brimley and I approve of this chat and the diabetes that it ensues. There you go, diabetes. Beat him to it. Yeah, we my wife does. I'm never home. and when she cooks, she does a great job. She really tries to do a good job with it because she gets so nervous cooking for me. It took forever for me to pound it into her head that I don't give a shit as long as I'm not making it. It's awesome, If I'm at the restaurant for 12 or 13 hours and I come home and it's like, here's your bowl of cereal, I'm like, sweet cereal. I love cereal. I don't care.
This is the best meal in the world right now.
Have you seen some of the new cereals they're coming out with? I feel like I'm a kid in the 80s again with all the variations of. They've got like banana nut Cheerios and there's some crazy stuff out there right now that I'm like, good Lord, I wish I was a kid again and could eat this shit. I can't eat that shit now, but
there's with marshmallows.
I remember the days when Oops All Berries was the go-to, right? Like Oops All Berries was like that was the pinnacle of sugary cereal goodness, And now there's so much other shit out there. They've got as much as I oppose this, by the way, They've got oops all berries with sprinkles. You know what I mean? Like donut. You know, I mean, it's against my personal religion, but I mean, you know, there's some crazy stuff out there nowadays.
Yeah, there is. It's nuts. We try not to. I mean, my son turned 3 in November, and I mean, you guys that have kids will totally understand this. Like, I like simple stuff, Apple Jacks, Cheerios, like, you know, that kind of stuff. I really like, and he loves Cheerios, but my wife likes like Lucky Charms. So she, like, when he knows they're in the house, man, he'll walk to the pantry and he'll point up to the Lucky Charms, right? And it's like he knows they're there, so I'm screwed now, right? But that little son of a bitch will, like, you give him a bowl of it.
Your wife, you said that.
Yeah. Yeah, that little bugger. That he'll you know, I'll give him, if it's just a snack, I'll just give him a cup dry, you know what I mean? Like, just as a snack. He'll eat all the marshmallows out of him, go put it on the table, and then walk back over to the pantry and point again, and I'm like, no. And then we have to have a power struggle in the middle of the kitchen, you know what I mean? So he just eats the damn marshmallows out of him, and then it's like, I'm done with this now. Hey, Pop, why don't you give me some more marshmallows, right? And then a couple of weeks ago, I gave him a Peep for the first time, and it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I can understand the Peep, but my thing is, like, to me, Lucky Charms and all the other marshmallow it was such a crock. Even as a kid, I didn't like that because, like, 1/100th of the box was actual good, delicious marshmallows, and the rest was just unflavored corn puff, either shaped like a number or a letter or some other weird, you know what I mean? Like, it was such a ripoff as a kid that it just pissed me off. I was like, no, I'd rather have Captain Crunch or Cookie Crisp, you know, or 100 other different cereals where every grain in there was flavored and delicious. Whereas with the Lucky Charms,
I feel you.
It's just, you're sitting there picking, as a kid, you're picking out the marshmallows, trying to get a spoonful of marshmallows so that you can have just a bowl full of crap left over, you know,
or you basically have to ration every spoon to have a marshmallow or two in it. So, you know, I can feel you on that one.
I'd so much rather have a Cookie Crisp or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, or, you know, name 100 other cereals where at least it's consistent throughout the entire, you know, cereal. You know, so I always thought that was kind of a rip off.
I was thinking it's kind of the same thing. When you said I was thinking of the Cookie Crisp. He said Captain Crunch, but I was thinking Cookie Crisp when you said this. He said Captain Crunch sucks unless you like having the roof of your mouth bloody.
Hey, man, that's fine. It's worth it. Fucking worth it.
I feel the same way about Cookie Crisp. It's like
well, cookies, it'll tear your mouth up too. But you know, but again, it's worth it. Those are even look. I'm a Crunch Berries man myself, right? Like, that's my favorite. That's my go-to is not Oops All Berries, but just regular Crunch Berries. You get half Captain Crunch, half Crunch Berries, because Captain Crunch by itself is delicious. Just regular old red box Captain Crunch is delicious. You add some berries in there in the yellow box, it's fucking great, right? I even love Peanut Butter Crunch. You know, it's great. Captain Crunch peanut butter. You know, so that's probably my go-to cereal. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to get cereal, which I never eat cereal anymore. I haven't eaten cereal since I was in my 20s, but like you know, consistently. But I mean, it's the go-to. But you got your Cookie Cinnamon Toast Crunch, always going to be a good one. Never got honeycomb. Honeycomb. What's with honeycomb? Really? Honeycomb? Yeah. It doesn't take. It's again pretty bland cereal, all told. Right?
That's like, fucking cardboard.
Honestly, I think one of the big problems with cereal too is, like, the cereal, if you eat it dry, tastes great because it has like a thin coating of like whatever it's supposed to have. But as soon as it hits the milk, it all washes off, and then you've got great flavored milk and crap cereal.
Yeah. Now, I will say, Cocoa Pebbles, that's some good shit, because even when it starts to wash off, you're eating it in chocolate milk.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird that we're talking about this, because last week I saw some weird video popped up and I was watching it, and it was like stuff when you were a kid. You know, like one of your top fives would be kind of like this, like favorite foods when you were a kid or whatever. And this dude came up and he was like, oh, I love Cocoa Pebbles. When I was a kid, I would use chocolate milk instead of regular milk. He would pour chocolate milk over his Cocoa Pebbles. And I'm like, dude, how are you still alive? Like, you should be dead. There's no way you should have made it to 30. No way.
Well, they have cereals now like Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows.
Oh yeah, there's crazy stuff.
They're just combining the best of everything that you wanted when you were a kid, and
which is overboard at that point. Like when it's Pebbles, and like look, Fruity Pebbles are great. All right, and let's throw in some completely random. Let's throw some Lucky Charms marshmallows. No, stop. You've gone too far. All right, you've been given too much power. It's time to stop. We have to fight this. This is why the Second Amendment was created. I'm just saying. But
Big Pharma and Post, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you're like, no, you've crossed a line. That is part of that line. So
was it Post, General Mills, or Kellogg's? That's it, man. That's it.
Although Multi Meal, let's be honest, the bag cereal Multi Meal.
Oh yeah,
they give them their money because it's almost half the price for basically something that tastes the same.
Sometimes I'm all about the cheap stuff, man. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time for me since I've eaten a lot of this stuff, but you know, hey, you never know. By the way, we're gonna have to do a top 10 cereals. So you've just cemented this here.
There you go.
We're doing a top 10 cereals on Monday night.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I mean, when you think about like. Yeah, and then you're talking about the new stuff. It's funny because it's almost like, General Mills hired a bunch of stoners and they're like, all right, well, let's take Fruity Pebbles and then, hey, Bob, go dig all the marshmallows out of the Lucky Charms and we'll throw them in there too.
They would have Dorito flavored.
Dorito flavored. By the way, you ever tried the Dorito flavored taco at Taco Bell?
Actually,
yes.
I just had that this weekend.
Actually, not bad. I really thought it was going to taste horrible. I was like, there's no way. I love Taco Bell. I love Doritos, but you're going to kill two good things in one throw. And when I had one, because I got a combo that came with one of those, and I was like, wow, I actually liked it. Like it's not like I'm not going to go order that. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to Taco Bell, I'm not going to go give me some of those. But if it's in the combo, yeah, I'm down. I'm digging in. So
well, didn't Doritos try killing the whole taco and Dorito thing by making taco flavored Doritos at some point?
I'm sure.
I think all the chip companies have tried making their fancy flavored chips to increase markets. Yeah.
Depending on what country you are, Doritos have a lot of different flavors. We don't get nowhere near as many flavors like Canada and overseas. They have a lot of different flavors.
I'll tell you what's another one. Go online and look up Oreo flavors, like around the world. There is dozens and dozens of different kinds of Oreos that are sold in different countries depending on what they like. Crazy. There's some weird shit out there, man. But it's pretty neat to see. I mean, that's actually something that my wife kind of brought up a while back. Is and it's a little bit expensive. I mean, money's a little bit tight or whatever, but doing stuff like that on the channel, trying to get a hold of some of this weird stuff and doing it and showing it on the channel or whatever, because there's some wacky stuff out there, man.
Same thing at the Coke Museum in Atlanta. They have all the Coke flavors from around the world, and some of them are wonderful and some of them are absolutely awful.
Don't they have like seaweed flavor for Japan or something?
They have
there's
everything.
They have some really weird stuff for like Japan and China, and there's some strange flavors that Coke has.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some weird stuff. Well, I mean, you think about it too. I mean, pretty much, I would imagine damn near any fruit you can think of, they've probably tried to pound it into a Coca-Cola somewhere around the world.
The weirdest Oreo I'm finding is green tea Oreo.
Green tea Oreos I've had. So I've had that because I shop at Asian markets and I've had those and they're good. But they're matcha Oreos. But there's there was a couple that I saw that were pretty wild. I don't remember.
Gingerbread, candy corn.
Candy corn I've had. My wife is a big candy corn fan. We've actually had those. They're pretty cool. They actually do taste like candy corn. Yeah,
Watermelon seems like an interesting one.
Yeah, see, I can't see watermelon being any good, you know?
I've had the watermelons. They released in the States one summer. I had them at Walmart, and I got one pack of them. They were under-flavored.
Yeah.
See, now I'm pissed because now I see in 2017 they made Peeps Oreos, and I missed out on that.
You're all angry now? He's going to flip over his couch.
I'm sorry. Peeps are disgusting.
Peeps are not as, for me, yeah, they're underwhelming. And you look at them, I'm like, that looks great. And you eat it, and you're like, meh.
The times I've ate a Peep, it kind of seemed like they took marshmallows from maybe 30 years ago that are as old as I am and decided to make a bird out of it and shoved it into packaging and said, here you go. It's going to taste great.
Any marshmallow candy is basically just trash. Like marshmallows don't make for good candy. You know, even stuff they put in cereal, they have to change the recipe. It's not exactly a marshmallow at that point, right? So it just
now I'm subbing from all you bastards.
Lewis Black.
The first Peep is good. Everyone after that knows.
Yeah. Lewis Black has a joke about candy corn. He said that they only ever made candy corn like 1 year in like 1962 or something. He said, and the candy corn that they made that 1 year is still around because people give it out.
Ration it out.
Yeah, no, people give it out to kids.
I actually do like candy corn.
Fruitcake too.
I don't hate it.
Weird reason I dig candy corn. So I can't explain
it. That was handed down.
And I even acknowledge that it tastes old and does not. But I don't know what it is. Yeah, I'm still down with candy corn.
He said it. People give it out to kids, and kids just like, leave it sit in the bags, and then they go around every year to house by house and collect all the candy corn that kids didn't eat, and they just repackage it and give it out the next year. So it's all 40
at all.
It's all 40-year-old candy. Nobody wants it.
Would not surprise me a bit.
Regifted fruitcakes.
Yeah. Some of them sons of bitches are indestructible, man.
Been around since it'll be around after the Holocaust. And
hey, you know what else too? I was at it's a grocery store, and this is by no means candy corn weather, or not candy corn, fruitcake weather, right? Like we're way out of fruitcake season. And they still have like the bags of the fruit, like the candied fruit at the grocery store sitting in like cellophane bags. And I'm like, who the hell is buying this shit in like April and May and June? The hell are you doing with this shit?
Fruitcakes, by the way, ever. Like other than companies, like a fruitcake tastes like dog shit no matter what. It's horrible. It's an awful thing to do to somebody. It obviously means you don't care about them at all. You just want them to eat bad at Christmas. So why would you go out of your way to make one when you can go to the store and buy one that's just as god awful as the one you're going to make? I don't understand why people are buying the ingredients to make a fucking thing like that. That horrible abomination.
Survivalists. You can make it, put them in your 50-year box.
There you go.
I just don't know.
Soaking in enough rum.
Hey, is there anybody in here that's ever actually liked a fruitcake? I'm just curious.
I'll tell you.
Met somebody
when
fruitcake.
No, but I'll say this: I'll take fruitcakes if somebody wants to give them to me. I'll build my next bomb shelter out of it, and
it'll work too. Yeah,
you build an igloo out of them. I'll tell you what. I've had fruitcakes that were not fruitcakes like we're talking about though, where they actually use like fresh fruit in them, and they were awesome. But not like the candied fruit, like the stuff that looks like jelly beans and shit. But like cakes that had like fresh apples and fresh pears and fresh stuff in it, that kind of stuff is good. You know what I mean? But that's a whole different monster, That's a whole different thing. Uh-oh, Grimm's here. Who's dying? Somebody must be
whoever eats the fruitcake.
Does anybody's left arm hurt? Do you smell burnt toast? Grimm's here.
Oh, if you eat that fruitcake, you're done.
Yeah, he's just waiting in the corner. He's like, I know when you sons of bitches are gonna do it.
Don't fear the Reaper.
There you go.
I don't have my nitro bottle on me. It's in the house, so I have to keep an eye on me.
Boom. Done.
Hey, the new guy's sleeping. I don't think he's sleeping.
He's not sleeping.
Oh man, so I would consider that a very successful food chat part of the show. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. And Matt, I think I got something that might even get I got some stuff to talk about that probably get you all fired up here. You might even go on a rant or two here.
Oh hell,
yeah. I stacked the deck for you. First thing in the description, if anybody looked in the description of the topics. Did you see? Did everybody see the Armslist thing in Wisconsin? What's going on up there?
No.
There was this happened in 2016, I believe. Two guys, one guy sold a pistol to another dude not through Armslist, but you know what I mean. He put it up for sale on Armslist. The other guy bought it. The guy that bought it then went and shot his estranged wife and killed himself. So they tried to sue Armslist. And a judge in 2016 said, no, that's not their responsibility. Armslist had nothing to do with the transaction. They had nothing, you know what I mean? Why would they be responsible for it? And I guess now another judge or lawyer, I guess another judge has decided to reopen the case or whatever, and is trying to say that Armslist has responsibility for the murder. And I thought that was totally bananas, crazy stupidness. And I wanted to bring it up. I thought it'd be a good panel conversation for everybody. How in the hell does it make any sense for that's like if you bought a car off of Craigslist or a motorcycle off of Craigslist, you went and killed yourself on the highway, and your wife is saying that Craigslist is at fault for selling you for letting somebody sell you a motorcycle.
Look, here's the deal.
That's
There's
nuts.
already precedent for this shit. Okay, there's already laws on the books. This is not. If this goes anywhere, it is quite literally the definition of a travesty of justice, because there is already laws on the books. There are already laws on the books, I should say. Things like if somebody drinks a bunch at a bar, they can't sue the fucking bar if they go off and kill somebody in a drunk driving accident.
They can.
Yes, they can.
Well,
yes,
and it's even worse than that, because you're talking about somebody who's not got the only thing they play a role in is having, this is a perfect example of the social media stuff that's been talked about lately, with the Facebook thing. They are providing a service where they just provide the platform for people to sell this stuff. Right. The only place for there to be any liability, which there really shouldn't be any anyways, are the person who bought it and the person who sold it. The site was just there.
Yeah, the one thing I don't know is I do not know. I didn't look up if Armslist has any kind of legal mumbo jumbo on their site that says we are not responsible for the transactions. I would imagine
before
they
you
would.
Can even search on Armslist, they have a whole list of that, and it's one of those things that's included in it.
Yeah, I would imagine. As I say, I would imagine. But yeah, with the alcohol thing, if you get in an accident, their first question is, where are you coming from? And that's why with in Pennsylvania, I can only speak for Pennsylvania, we have things like TIPS and ramp certification and stuff. That is training for servers and bartenders to spot when people are quote unquote intoxicated and should be cut off. And having servers and bartenders with that certification actually helps your insurance. And that's why owners and operators always want their servers to have that. But that is a huge deal. There's actually been instances where people have come in, sat down at the bar, been served a drink, maybe only taken like a sip or something and gotten in an accident or something like that. And that business has been held responsible, or they can be. It's really, I mean, that's a little bit, but the Craigslist thing that I had said is kind of more likened to this, which is like, or a forum. I mean, who's to say like PAFOA has forums for gun sales? Who's to say I don't go in there and buy a gun from RL because he's in Pennsylvania too, or Black Cat, if we didn't know each other, and one of us sells it, one of us buys it, and what the hell, It's crazy.
It's like going and buying some crack in the parking lot in Walmart, ODing, and then suing Walmart because they let you buy crack at Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild.
So here's the thing. Obviously, a lot of you guys know that I'm from Wisconsin, and the shooting that they're talking about actually happened 15 minutes away from me. Here's the thing I always tell everybody in Wisconsin. If you're doing any trade or any sale through Armslist or any form of private trade, Wisconsin is a public access state, which means that you have full legal access to go on one of Wisconsin's run websites that's updated daily and run your own background check on them. It will tell you if they have been charged with anything, if what parking tickets or speeding tickets they've gotten. It's all public record. So if you're doing any type of private sale in Wisconsin, go ahead and look at that. It's a simple thing. It takes you 5 minutes. You go on to Wisconsin Circuit Court Access Point, type in first name, last name, and if you can get a date of birth, that's the best way to do it. The other big thing is check to see if they have a concealed carry permit. I personally won't deal with anybody that can't show me a valid concealed carry permit. I mean, Wisconsin makes it easier for you to do that. And here's the other thing. Wisconsin, because of it being a public access state, you can call into any sheriff's department, any police department, give them the serial number of a gun, and they will run it for you and make sure that it's not stolen. Wisconsin also has laws on the book where if you don't have access or money to go get a trigger lock, you walk into almost any police department and they will hand you a trigger lock. So for me, I don't see why Armslist is getting sued by it. If anything, I don't think that the guy that sold the gun did enough research on the person he was selling to, because this guy had already had criminal stuff, and it's all public access in Wisconsin. You can look it up. The guy that bought the gun was a criminal who was not supposed to have firearms.
Right. Yeah. It is.
Was he from Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin.
That's where he was from?
Yeah, they were both from Wisconsin. I think. I believe. I would imagine.
Applications in Wisconsin for selling a gun to somebody and not doing your quote unquote due diligence to make sure you knew they weren't a felon or weren't somebody who was, because like in Texas, there's no, I don't have to run a background check. It's not like all I have to do is be able to, if things get bad enough where I roll into court for selling somebody a gun who they turn around and do something bad with, is be able to go, look, I had no reasonable suspicion that they were a gang member or, whatever it is. I had no, there was nothing about the encounter I had with this person that would have tipped me off to say that I should have been wary about selling them a gun. But I know some states are like, no, you are completely liable, for whatever reason. Like you should have, even if it's not the law, you should have run a background check or whatever else, Yeah, I know it depends on the state. So,
well, in PA, you have to transfer handguns. You don't have to transfer long guns. So I could sell, I could sell to Black Cat, without no questions asked or whatever. Then most people that are educated on firearms will draw up, a little bill of sale, for themselves or something like that. Like, I mean, I'm not selling it. I've never sold a gun. So, I mean, I'm not really sure, but
not since the boating accident.
That's right. No, this was Sasquatch. It was the Sasquatch that took him. He was drinking and he got a little out of hand and he took all my guns. It was really scary.
So you got to be careful.
I was really scared. It was pretty. Boy, he left me with. So yeah,
in Wisconsin, you don't have. By no means do you have to run any type of background, and you don't have to you don't have to transfer any type of gun through the state or anything. As far as they're concerned, is once it goes into your property, or once you possess your property from an FFL, that gun never has to go through any type of process to get sold back to an FFL or anything, or have anything registered even for a private sale. You don't have to have a bill of sale. You don't have to run a background check. You don't have to check concealed carry permits or anything along those lines. So it's pretty much the same as what Matt was describing in Texas. So realistically, if someone doesn't seem shady to you and everything seems right, then you're free to sell them any gun that you want.
I don't know how it is in a lot of these states, but you also have a responsibility not to sell a gun to a felon. You know, and what if you sell someone that this guy's got a domestic violence protective order against him? You could get into a problem. Then you not know that.
Yeah, in most
so you got to look.
In most states, that you just have to be able to prove that you had reasonable belief that this person was not a criminal. In other words, they weren't doing anything or acting in any fashion that made you suspicious. They didn't say anything or do anything in the conversation or the interaction you had with them. You know, they weren't flashing fucking gang signs. They didn't roll up in a fucking, I don't know, fucking lowrider. I don't know what are the fucking gang members doing. I don't know.
It's probably not quite that simple.
I just had it
with shit, but I'm just saying, like nowadays, for the most part, most states, you have to, you know, the state has to prove you knew that this person wasn't able to own these guns. There are some states where that's not the case, where the burden of proof is on you because these states suck ass and, you know, they're anti-constitutional.
But this one, that these people are getting sued. There's a difference between getting charged and getting sued. All they have to do in a criminal case, you have to have guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt. All the jurors have to agree. In civil, only the majority have to agree. And a lot of times they feel bad for people and they feel bad for this person's family. And I'm not saying it's right at all, but they feel bad for this person's family and they feel that they need to be compensated. And if they can't get anything from this guy, they go to the next step up and they sue the people that put the transaction together, right or wrong.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They're going for whoever they can get. Whoever has the pockets.
That person needs to be compensated, and Armslist has the deep pockets, and that's probably why they're doing it. I hope it doesn't work out, but this is what can happen.
Here's the thing: a lot of people I don't think are seeing with this. The guy that sold the gun's also getting sued. So the way that
who they're going to get more from, though.
Yeah, the way that Wisconsin's laws are actually set up, though, is it does protect you if you are found not guilty criminally of any criminal charges, then they can't actually sue you in civil
This is not really the same thing, though. He's not being charged just because he wasn't charged with a crime doesn't mean he doesn't bear some responsibility. He sold it to someone that just went out and committed a crime. I mean, I realize he didn't know. I hope he didn't know. But that's what we're doing when we sell a gun to an individual and we're not sure. We're taking a little bit of a chance. I haven't sold one to anybody in a long time without going through an FFL because at that point, I have no more liability. I have none. Once I go through it, it's worth the 10 or 20 bucks because there's nothing. I saw someone lose their career over selling a gun to someone that was legally eligible to own one. Didn't know that they had a domestic violence protective order. There's no way to look that up. This guy couldn't look that up. This guy went and killed his wife and then himself. This guy lost his career for selling that gun. You're taking a chance when you sell someone, be it the law or not. You're taking a chance. I would pay the $5 or $10 if you got a buddy that's an FFL. Transfer it. There's no liability on you at all.
Well, that's why a big thing with my trades and sales always usually go through family and friends that I can actually verify.
If they're in my phone book, if they're in my phone and I know who they are, that's different. But other than that,
you also you got to know your state laws. Like look, and again, I'm spoiled, and Tardot knows this. We live in Texas. In Texas, if you're selling a gun, it's damn near impossible to get in trouble for something. I mean, it just is. Texas is ridiculously pro gun. We're very pro friendly when it comes to selling guns, buying guns, that kind of stuff. We we have more protections for gun owners. You know, people talk about how free Arizona is with constitutional carry, but we have more legal protections for gun owners when we have to shoot somebody or when we sell a gun or when we buy a gun than Arizona does. So you have to look at your state laws. That's the most important thing to understand when you are buying or selling a gun, because when you're buying or selling a gun, there are very, very few federal laws in place. It all depends on what state you live in. Understand. You know, go do some research. If you're getting into buying firearms and selling firearms or whatever it is, or just you want to go buy your first handgun and you think this might be something that at some point you're going to really be into, and you're going to be selling the guns occasionally or whatever, like we all do because we get tired of the guns we have. It's like any hobby, right? Then do your due diligence to study not just the laws in your state, but some of the things that have actually happened in your state. You know, go study some of the cases that have happened where people have gotten shot or people sold a gun to somebody that ended up doing something bad with that gun. Go study those cases so that you have a better understanding of how things go in your state. Because we can all sit here from all different states and talk about you need to do this, this, or this, but we have to understand, for all intents and purposes, you know, we live in a loosely not loose enough as far as I'm concerned, but we live in a loosely connected grouping of 50 different countries that have some laws that are separate across the board the same, but have many laws that are not. So
how about this? You say Arizona is very restrictive?
Well, no, I don't think they're very restrictive. I'm just saying when it comes to legal protection, once you've pulled the trigger or once
what he's getting at is like,
I'm sorry.
After Arizona, like, and I'm not saying Arizona's not. I'm just using them as an example because people point to them a lot as, oh, they have a constitutional carry. They're very pro-gun. Well, they're not. In some cases they are, but let's say once you have to go to court for something, they actually aren't as pro-gun as Texas is. Texas has a lot of laws on the books that say, yeah, if you had to shoot somebody, we're more likely to be on your side when it goes to court than same situation happening in Arizona. You know, same thing. You sell a gun in Texas and somebody commits a crime with it, you're more likely not going to get in trouble than if you do the same thing in Arizona. So, you know, you have to look at the laws. You have to look at what's happened in your state. You have to be aware of what's going on. You can't just be in Arizona and go, we have constitutional carry, so we're very pro-gun. That's great. Look at some court cases. What's happened when somebody has sold a gun to somebody who committed a crime there? What's happened when somebody got into a self-defense shooting in Arizona versus in other states? You have to look at those things. And that's why I say, look at what's going on a state-by-state level. You have to know where you live and understand how things generally go in your state, because not every state views things the same way, you know, and there are different aspects to being a gun owner. There's buying guns, there's selling guns, there's finding yourself in that horrible situation where you have to shoot somebody, there's just owning firearms. There's a lot of aspects to this, and we're talking, you know, we're kind of combining a few different aspects of it. So that's what I'm saying. Just understand where you live and understand the things that you in your area need to concern yourself with. If you live in an area where, and this is just my opinion, if you live in a state where even once somebody was able to, you know, say, oh, well, you know, he sold a gun to somebody and, you know, this person who did it, you know, ended up doing something bad with it and you ended up in jail. Well, then, you know, cover your ass. Even if the law doesn't require you to, cover your ass.
Well,
you know,
there's another side of that. There's another side of that. Think about if they why am I echoing? Think about if they sue you and now they take your house and everything you have. That's what you got to worry about.
Well, yeah, but like what Matt's getting at is there's a specific law in Texas, for instance, and some states have it. Some states don't. Some states have it that states if they were found committing a crime, you can't be civilly held accountable.
I know, but this is a crime that happens elsewhere. I'm just trying to help out. This is a crime. You got to think outside the box. This is a crime that happens elsewhere, and they can sue anyone for anything. And the more you have, the more of a target you are.
Yeah, civil court is a tricky thing, and again, check state laws. See if what you're worried about has ever happened in your state. Again, I go back to Texas in general has more protections for gun owners after the fact than any. I almost want to say any other state. I'm not exactly sure if that's true, but when it comes to if you've been involved in a shooting or you've sold a gun or bought a gun or whatever, I believe Texas has more protections for people than any other state. That may be off by a bit. There may be one or two other states out there. So again, check your state laws. That's kind of the point. Figure out where because unfortunately we live in a world where you have to cover your ass. And if that means you just have made the decision that if you're going to sell a gun, you're going to go to your local FFL and you're going to just go ahead and say, hey, this is I'm going to run a background check. Sorry, that's what we're going to do. If that's what you got to do, then do it. If that's what makes you feel comfortable, you figure that out.
That's a big thing to remember too. Is the court of your civil courts are nothing more than a court of sympathy. It's not a court of law or anything like that. At that point, it's a court of sympathy, and that is a real big thing to remember. Is just because you may be protected and you think you did everything right, it doesn't matter. If a judge feels bad for somebody, odds are it's going to be a court of sympathy, and you're going to have a judgment against you.
Yeah,
I got sued for being the victim of a drunk driver, and they ended up with a small settlement just because what was written on the side of my car. Who I work for. I was a victim and got sued. So these things happen. But I have one more thing to say about Texas gun laws is I hate you guys because I always have to answer questions when I teach concealed carry about, well, in Texas, you can do this because you guys do have a lot of freedoms down there. And I do appreciate that. But it is known across the country. They always have to tell you, well, in Texas, you can do this. We're not in Texas. We're not doing that down there.
No, it is.
Texas, there's some that are kind of ridiculous too, to a point. I mean, they've got laws talking about if somebody's stealing something and you reasonably believe you can't get it back, it's something big and high dollar.
Oh, trust
you
me.
can shoot them.
Somebody in the
I
back.
know about that one.
Somebody in the back in Texas, because there's an example that happened. I can't remember if it was late 90s, early 2000s. A guy shot another dude in the back who had broken into his house, stole a VCR, and was running off with it. And he got away with it. Shot the guy in the back, in his backyard. And because of the laws in Texas, again, understand that if you don't live in Texas, this is not a normal thing.
I know.
But yeah, Clovertac just put it really well in the chat. He says we can legally protect both life and property, and that's the same way that it is here in Wisconsin as well.
Yeah, no, it is. And
I don't want to shoot somebody over a $25 VCR.
No, and I wouldn't either. And I wouldn't either. But there's case law in Texas that says you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of those things where it's like, again, that's why I want to stress, understand your state laws. Understand, where you fall. Understand, do the research. If you're planning on getting into guns and all that kind of stuff, then you need to do that bit of research so that understand, whether you live in Louisiana or Texas or Wisconsin or wherever the hell you live, doesn't matter. Look, Google's a great thing when you want to do some research. Okay. We have more access to information than we ever have in human history, for good or bad. That's what we do. You can search this stuff out without, jumping through any hoops. So get up off your lazy ass and spend 20 minutes on the computer one day if you've decided you want to become serious about firearms ownership, and just look at some of the stuff in your state so that you better understand it. It's not difficult at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so like one thing I always suggest to people is, for example, in Wisconsin, our concealed carry license is a 5-year license. Go take a refresher course on a concealed carry class. It costs you what, $50 to $100 at max. Go take a refresher on that and pay attention to like whoever issues your concealed carry license, because most of the time when the laws change, whoever issues that places it on their website immediately so that they pay attention. I always think taking a refresher class for a concealed carry class is not a bad idea by any means.
That's the thing. Once you go through class, like in North Carolina, once you go through class, it is a 5-year permit. All you have to do is come in and renew it and renew it and renew it. And you could conceivably never take a refresher for 25, 30, 40 years. And it's up to you to maintain, to stay up on the legal updates. So
yeah, like I'm getting ready to take my first refresher class because my license expires in September of this year. So I'm just going to go back. I by no means have to, but for me, I think it's just a good idea to go through and do that.
Well, in North Carolina, they did a major law change, and I think it was 2010. From when I was teaching, it was places, a lot of it where you could carry, the being able to use deadly force in your own home. Used to be before you had to, halfway in the door or halfway in the act of breaking into your home. But in 2010, it changed to, I think, just if they were in your house or something like that. But they did a lot of those law changes, and the people that had the permits before then, if they hadn't looked at those laws, they would have had no idea that the places they could carry changed, and actually a lot for the better. But they wouldn't be up on the new laws, so you have to keep up with that stuff.
Yeah, and that's a big thing is what I noticed here in Wisconsin. A big thing that we run into is it's 100% legal for us to carry into a bar as long as we're not consuming. And for some reason, a lot of people with CCWs don't understand that, hey, if you're not drinking, you can carry in there. And they think, oh, I'm automatically going to get in trouble if I'm carrying a gun in there. And they don't realize that. It's like that's one of the simple laws that it takes you 2 seconds to look up. If it's not posted, no concealed carry, you're welcome in that bar with a weapon as long as you're not drinking.
If they were citing Texas law, that might be the reason why.
There you go.
But I'm going to say we all of us Texans should go to North Carolina, take one of Sarge's class, and just sit there and bring up Texas state law.
Oh my God, that would be awful. You guys could just fan the flames of everybody that's already asking the questions. You'd be like, oh yeah, you can do this. Yeah, you can do that.
Hey, so here's awful. A good one for you, Sarge. Do you guys issue out-of-state permits in your state?
I do not believe that they do. I know some of the surrounding states do, but I don't think. No, I'm like reasonably sure North Carolina does not have an out-of-state permit. And the person to ask about this would be Tardot, because I know that he's more familiar with the out-of-state permits than I am.
North Carolina, I don't believe does, because the ones we've gotten ours through is Virginia, and there's only there's a handful of states that really do it a lot, I guess you could say. There's some that have it, and you don't hear about it as much. Texas has it. I know Virginia has it. I believe Kentucky and a few others have it. I'd have to pull up. I've got a list of them. I know somewhere of who all provides it.
Well, because I'm just curious, because like Minnesota accepts, it seems like almost everybody else's concealed carry permits except for Wisconsin's. And I go to Minnesota enough where I'm trying to figure out what out-of-state license I should get that's going to cover me for Minnesota.
But you got to be careful there, because there's a lot of states that don't accept non-res. They'll still accept another state's license, but they will not accept non-resident. There's I say a lot. There's not a whole lot, but there's several, especially on the north side. I don't know about like Wisconsin, Minnesota, and all that, but I know Michigan and several of your northeastern states, they will not accept out-of-state or non-resident licenses. It has to be a resident license specifically.
Yeah, see, the one that I remember popping up, and I would have to look at it again, is I know they accept, I think it's Utah's non-resident license, but I thought there was some other ones. I know Wisconsin's one of the ones where if you're not or if you have a non-resident, we don't accept it whatsoever.
Just like to say to everyone, if you need a resource for what permit your state does and does not accept, it's www.handgunlaw.us.
Oh, you can pretty much just type in your state and then put gun law after it, and you'll have handgun law, and there's a few others I've looked at. And then I end up going straight to the state's website because you're gonna get the best information there. Just hard to read.
Well, you're gonna get the true information there. An independent website is someone else's opinion. If you go to the government webpage, that will be your actual laws. So that would be that's the better idea right there.
Yeah, like the one that I always use because I have USCCA for my concealed carry insurance is I normally go there, but it's kind of one of those ones where I started noticing some stuff is conflicting with what the actual Wisconsin website says. So,
Matt left us, just so everybody knows. We'll give him a little plug if you. I'm sure everybody in here, unless you have been under a rock for the past 10 years, know who Matt, Never Enough Ammo. He's got a couple of strikes on the station, so if you don't know this already, go check him out on Mr. Matt's station, Mr. Matt's Vlogs. That's where he's doing all his live streaming off of. He can't live stream right now, even though you saw him here as Never Enough Ammo. He can't stream as that right now, so just so you know. And I want to backtrack a little bit. Grim.
All right.
Because you weren't here and you came in after we talked about it. What's your food? We were talking about food stuff. What's your one favoritist food other than the souls of the damned?
My favorite food.
Yeah. What's the one thing that when you guys go to a family event or what you remember a family member, your grandfather or your parents making when you were a kid? What's the one thing that always pops in your head?
Blood of angels.
Delicious.
You know what I do remember is oh my god, they used to make the canned ham with the cloves and the pineapple, and they I don't know what, she made her own little concoction of honey and spices and cinnamon to drizzle over while she cooked it for what I would think would be too much. But no, that it was like it was really sweet, but it ended up really tender. Even though she cooked it so long, my grandma, it was just odd. My mom makes it. It's good. Don't get me wrong. But maybe when you're younger and you're little and, but I do remember that, the ham, it just, I mean, you could smell it. You could just smell, the little clove, you know what I'm talking about,
the Hormel black labeled ham.
Yeah, but it was the little, he said the little spiced cloves. Is that what it is?
Yep, cloves, the little look like little railroad spikes.
Yeah, because I remember we used to prick each other with them after we take them out. But I do remember that. Yeah, the ham, and you could never get enough, and fresh. Because I remember we'd go visit my grandma. There was about half a mile away. There was a bakery, and they made fresh bread all day. And we'd run down there. I remember we'd get down there, you'd buy 3 loaves because one loaf would never make it home. You just start picking at the little fresh spongy bread and warm, and you're just like cotton candy sticking in your mouth.
When I worked at a barbecue place here in town, the owner always had us make an extra rack of the rolls we used, because he knew by the time that we actually opened the restaurant up, we'd be there at 4:00 in the morning. That whole tray would be gone.
See, that's exactly, it's like the rule of 13, baker's dozen there.
That makes a baker's dozen, Bob. How many heart attacks is that, Todd?
Said it is.
Well, these rolls were
dozen, Bob.
These rolls were really weird. He bought they were the pre-made ones that you kind of get frozen, but then he would take them, defrost them, and then before we'd put them in to proof them, you would sprinkle barbecue rub on them, which turned them out freaking amazing. So, however he decided to come up with that was very interesting to me.
Sounds good though.
Clovertack is being a writer out there. Being a poet. He says a toll is a toll and a roll is a roll. And if we don't get no tolls, then we don't eat no rolls. I made that up.
Very Mel Brooksian there, Clover.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of tolls, ever since I've been alive, if we go to Illinois, we end up, just to get to the Six Flags right by me, we've had to go through like 3 or 4 tolls. Wisconsin finally said screw it, and they're putting in tolls to charge the bastards when they come into our state.
That's how it is. That's how it is in Jersey. You can get into Jersey for free, but you got to pay to get out.
Hey, it's a very nice guy you get there. You're gonna have to pay to get it out, though.
That's funny. I remember, when we had the house in Wisconsin, because I had a vacation house up there. We'd drive up. I'd love hitting the Wisconsin border because I knew the next 100 miles I didn't have any tolls. On the way back, as soon as you'd hit Illinois, it would say, "Welcome to Illinois." About 300 feet after that sign, it would say, "Please pay toll."
Yep. And the other thing
welcome and right here.
So I love it. You go down Illinois if you're coming up from like the Schaumburg area, and you hit all of those tolls.
Yep.
Then on top of that, the speed limit through that whole damn section is like 55. It's gridlocked. Then you just cross the border a little bit. You go through Wisconsin, 70-mile-an-hour speed limit, and odds are you can do 95 to 100 to wherever you're going because you may see one state patrol the entire way.
Oh yeah. Well, Snowy, you'll be happy to find out they just changed all the signs on that part of the tollway, and can you believe it is now 70?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just changed them like a month or so ago, but they did put more tolls in.
Well, so I live in southeastern Wisconsin, right around the like Delavan, Beloit, Lake Geneva, East Troy area.
Oh, yeah. That's the way I used to head up north.
They're actually going to be changing the speed limits in like this whole Walworth County section and up in through Waukesha County. They're actually trying to raise it to 80.
Really?
So, yeah. So if that happens, I'll be nice and happy.
Wow.
Wow, that is pretty high.
That's awesome. Everybody's cruising that fast anyway.
Now they're just going to be doing 110.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the speed limit is. Everyone's going 10 or 20 miles over.
Yeah, I know. I feel like the slowpoke nowadays. Even coming back from Tulsa, I was going 80. It's going about 80, and everybody was still passing me.
Well, the state patrol here, if you're not doing at least 85, 90 miles an hour, they'll let you pass because they know they just got to sit there for another minute or two. And they'll get someone doing 100.
Well, that's what I figured. I'd figure I'll go 10-0, almost 10-0. Everybody was still cruising. Like, damn.
The Cowboy says PA sucks 55 with the extremely rare 65. Yeah, we don't get above 65 here.
Well, anything over that, it scares all the horses and buggies.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Hey, that's not funny. I have Amish people that live in my area.
I was going to say there's a few up there.
You guys know what goes clip, clop, bang, bang, right? An Amish drive-by. So I threatened it earlier this week. Does anybody want to hear a story?
What?
Whose story?
My story.
I do.
I was born in a log cabin deep fryer.
I was born a small and poor black child.
I may have to unload my gun and get a drink if we're here in story time. When Matt was talking about, eradicating his channel the other day, everybody said, save the story time, save the story time, save the story time. And tons of people were like, what the hell are you talking about? What's story time? And it was, you kind of don't think about it. There's so many new people that have never heard them or had no idea, and I read mine once on my channel, but I never had a panel. So it's so much funnier to have it when you have panel and you have the mics open and, you hear some people talking or chattering or laughing or whatever. So I said, if anybody wanted to hear it, I would read mine, and then we would have it here. I sent Matt an email to see if he wanted to read his here too, but he didn't get my email apparently, or didn't read it. I thought maybe we could have them both on the same chat, but whatever, it is what it is. Because the original one was by Rock Hunter, and then when
damn.
Oh boy, well, this guy just shows
Thanks
up
for
and
interrupting.
Degenerate just has to be
Yeah.
the center of attention. Always has
Yeah.
to say, "Look at me."
I'm
Well, I would
sorry.
expect to get a
I came
community
in,
strike.
looked at midnight, and all of a sudden got into a sneeze. It's one of those things. It just happens.
oh, whoa, where did
Now that
What-
was good.
what happened?
Excellent one.
I could have
Mid
swore I just
sentence.
I could have swore I heard outhouse somewhere.
I don't
Man.
think the outhouse has been sucked up with the septic.
I must have had, maybe my phone was playing an outlaw video in the background. I don't know. I don't know.
That's
I
what
could
he
be
gets for opening his mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, here comes a community guideline strike waiting to happen.
Zappity zap bang boom. I
I
can't
thought
believe
the Reaper got to him.
Oh, he did.
Well, you see, the trick
Good,
is
he
you don't
interrupted
hear-
the conversation.
I can't believe he's not back yet.
Me neither.
What the fuck? God damn! What the hell did you do?
Either that or he
You
didn't
heard his
realize that
papusa.
he's still
And in-
talking. Maybe
Yeah.
that would be
And
even
in
funnier.
story time, Ellis Degenerate coughed and pow disappeared.
And that,
You do.
boys and girls, is how the internet came to an end. A redneck in his trailer sneezed. Next week, we'll tell you how Fuzzy Bear got his groove back.
He's
Yeah.
just trying to figure out how to get the nuclear football to take Pennsylvania out right now.
Yeah. It would be funny if we saw him tomorrow in a chat somewhere and he's just finishing whatever conversation he's having right now and doesn't
Still
know that we're not
talking.
listening.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Still
would be
talking.
funny.
And that's the first time I got that goat pregnant. Meh. Hey, wait, what? So we'll
Yeah,
wait for
this
him
is
to come
definitely
back.
heading to the last night's stream.
Yeah, we'll wait for him to come back. Oh yeah, if I'm gonna do story, there's some funny stuff in the story. It's PG-13 for show. For show. Where's he at? Where did he go? Is he coming back or what?
No, I don't think so.
You blocked
No, I
me.
didn't. No, I didn't block you, Ellis. I booted you.
He got scarred. He got scarred.
It's tough with dial-up internet.
Yeah.
Dial up, hell, he's using the telegraph.
No, I didn't block you, Ellis. Come on back in.
Good.
No, I didn't block him. I ejected him. That's all.
Does it auto block when you eject someone?
I don't think no, because when I click on him right now, it's not saying that he's. It's not saying that he's.
Well, it might. If you eject someone, it might block him for that chat.
Really? I've never done it. That's the first time I ever did it.
Outlaw, we all know that you get like 40
Way to find out.
troll
Let's
accounts.
just do it live.
Yeah,
Ouch.
because it still says put user in timeout, hide user. Oh wait, hold on a second.
Does it say bring back user?
Oh, message deleted by. You just
No, I
deleted all this.
Sure.
Now you did.
Hey, Midnight, Mohawk Boy,
Yeah.
take a breath for a second. You're looking at YouTube. You're not looking at Hangouts.
Mm-hmm. Shit, I'm pretty sure
Kicked
I
them
just.
out of
User on this
Hangouts.
channel.
You're in the chat. Yeah.
I know, but I was. Whatever. All right, shut up,
He said-
everybody.
He
You've
said
been
earlier he
huffing
was
cooking grease too much
technology-
today.
All right, well,
Oh,
Oh,
Hey, Outlaw, we'll catch you later, buddy.
Oh, damn. Here, I was hoping to put him in timeout before you hit him.
no, well, now we're gonna have to figure out how to do all that shit later. I don't know.
He's just telling you to kiss his ass. He's going and starting his own chat with hookers and goats and everything.
And blackjack and strippers.
Yeah, that was
Matter of fact, screw everything but the goats.
that escalated quickly, didn't it?
Very quickly.
Ellis, you are on double secret triple probation.
Oh, here we go. Unhide user. Okay, he's back. He can be in the chat now. Yeah, I don't know if you boot somebody out of the Hangouts. Is it? I don't know if that's. I don't know what happens. I just thought it would dump him out and he could come right back in.
Well,
You're probably going to have to go into like your user menu and see if if it's got him on block or something.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Hell, I removed his
And
wrench.
he
too.
removed my wrench.
Well, you know what? You're gonna have to. He says, "Wow." You're gonna have to head to Patreon and add another $1.
Ellis, he did
There
say it
you
would have
go.
cost you.
There you go. Okay, now you're good. All right. Too Hottie says he won't be able to get. See now, Too Hottie would know because I guarantee Too Hottie's been booted out of a hangout or two. Not bad. All right. Okay.
No, Slim, you can have a ratchet instead of a wrench.
A ratchet. Yeah.
You wanted a screwdriver, but I ain't got the vodka or the orange juice.
Ellis, I don't know now. I mean, if you can come back in or not, I'm not sure.
Try it.
Yeah, try and come back in. See what it says.
Come on, guinea pig.
Oh, here. How
I
about
promise you won't slam the door on your face. More than once.
Here, I'll send you another link. We'll see what happens. Maybe if I send him another link.
He promises he won't, he won't boot you for about a minute.
Too Hot, he says, Jonas has done it to me, then started a new hangout because he felt like such a douche. There you go. There he is. Hey, buddy. What happened?
Hi. What happened? Did you fall down? Did you hurt?
Oh, yeah, I fell down.
Were you talking to yourself?
It's a trap. Phoenix says, it's a trap.
Tell us where the Mohawk touched you.
Show me on this little doll. Oh, wait. You're not supposed to have the boy one. You're supposed to have the girl doll. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because when you go into there's hide from broadcast profile, eject. Yeah, so
Mohawk put his mouth on my, never mind.
He's a no spot. Oh, my. You keep your bathing suit there.
Don't even go there.
It's a trap.
I ain't got enough whiskey for that kind of trap.
It's, yeah.
C4, I know it's a setup. These guys are idiots. Well, not these guys, just the big one over the Mohawk.
That's it. So, okay, now that Outlaw's back.
What's going on with your beard, by the way?
I need to shave. That's what the hell's wrong with it.
Or
do you mean because of the gray?
Yeah, well, no, I'm not used to seeing you have that much hair in your face.
Yeah, I need to cut my hair and shave for sure. I'm a bum. I'm looking homeless. That's my.
You don't want to be tactical like the rest of us?
That's my outlaw beard.
Outlaw beard.
Mm-hmm.
Outlaw.
All right. So, if you guys want story time, I'll do story time. I don't know. You know, it'd be fun. So, basically, what the whole idea is that they did story time, right? And then Matt said, we need somebody else to do one. So I threw one together. I'm a big fan of horror movies. So I thought what I would do was I'd basically do a Gun Channel's horror movie, or a horror movie, right? So it's got a bunch of people in it that, there's 12 or 13 different people in it. I don't know. And it's just basically like a slasher flick. Not a flasher flick. That's different.
Don't be spoiling it for you.
No goats.
Right.
Look, Janice Gay is not in here. We don't want to be talking about flashers.
Oh. Snowy says, sending the cat to Midnight Range. I didn't quite catch what the hell. I was like, why is he telling her he's sending what? Yeah, he's sending me the cat.
The damn cat, as I'm sitting here, I hear trying to get into one of the cabinets where I've got my pizza that's got to go in the fridge sitting in. I mute it. I'm yelling at the damn thing. I'm going to send you off to become Chinese food.
Well, let it eat the pizza first. Fatten it up so it's nice and tender.
Oh, yeah.
Now Lost Explorer is sitting out here.
You don't have to send it far. Midnight's right there.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll taste like pepperoni by the time I get there. By the time he gets here.
Remember to send the empty box to Jonas, though.
Oh, that's just cold-hearted.
No, you're supposed to leave one slice for Jonas.
and then have.
And then Gary eats it.
It's kind of like pouring a little bit of your beer out or your whiskey. You know, for Jonas, you got to leave one piece of pizza out.
One for me and one for my homies.
The hell is Sarge holding up there?
No step on snake, probably. No step on snack.
I'd agree. Don't step on SNES.
You don't step on snack, and you don't snap on the platypi either.
No, definitely.
Where's the shall not be infringed boy been at, by the way?
Sarge also has. Also has. He's got his bourbon in there. You know. He's got his bourbon in there to marinate his mustache.
Smells like freedom.
Smells like America. So newcomers. I know we got like 30 people in here. You know, whatever. You know, it's not like 1 million people, but if you don't know what Poco Ghibli is, that's a never enough ammo term. You have to. That's your homework.
No, it's a G-Web term.
Is it? I thought that was.
Because remember they were doing the top 10 animated films, and everyone kept putting up like the Miyazaki films. And was it Night Strike who said? Because G was just going back like, well, I've never heard of this. I don't. What is this? What is this? And I think it was Night Strike said, well, it's Studio Ghibaldi or Studio Ghibli. Then G made reference to one movie and said, yeah, I understand it's not like one of these artsy Poco Ghibli films or whatever. And it kind of took off from there.
Yeah. That was a long time
Hey,
ago.
Midnight, I can't send you the cat anymore because Lost Explorer picked her up and instantly bit her. So I like the cat a little bit more at the moment.
Well, why don't you lock them both in the bathroom and see who comes out of the old Thunderdome? No step on Papusa. That's right. You don't want to be doing that. So, this is the shit hit the fan story time. The curse of Camp Poco Ghibli. I hope you guys like it.
Are you going to read?
I'm going to read.
When did you learn how to do that?
Yeah, so he's going to try.
Like 10 years before you did?
I said I'm going to read it, but I'm actually just winging it. I'm actually just coming off the fly with
Alice, don't be jealous. He's hooked on phonics.
Hooked on
Mia and ask her to read it, so something don't get screwed up.
Hooked on Pohoanox. Hooked on Pohoanox.
Down Poco Ghibli.
Jalapenos?
Did it work for you?
It did. Let me get some of my Grim juice here.
You must have attended that fancy private school to learn how to read.
I did.
It was the one in the white panel van.
You know, I'm thinking with this bunch, calling your drink there Grim Juice may not be the best choice.
So is it like a coffee drink or is it a fizzy drink?
It's carbonated Grimmy Grim juice. Grim Jazz. Grim Jazz. Jazz, not jizz, jazz.
Hard on is just crushed souls. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like when you pour in like powdered drink mix, it's just powdered,
powdered souls.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is he feeding you the bleach or what?
Yeah, there you go. Powdered bleach. That's good.
The arsenic.
Tastes like asparagus, obnoxious one says. Bleh.
Graham, I bet you hated that movie Final Destination, didn't you? That one kid just kept getting away from you.
Eventually, you'll get to practice your reading skills tonight.
Never get away.
Yeah. So,
just okay,
here we go. Shit hit the fan. Story time. The curse of Camp Poco Ghibli. He just couldn't take it anymore. The jokes, the nicknames, the total disrespect. After signing out from his hit or miss podcast, Night Strike started packing up his belongings. He took all the essentials: water, snacks, and his favorite blue dress. Feeling the enormous strain of the bullying, he had amazingly left all of his guns and ammo. He was going to start new, and wanted no reminders of the life of pain he was leaving behind. I haven't read this in so long, I actually forget. It's going to be funny to me too. He left only a note spelled out in the bullet holes in the side of the gang's AMC Scrambler from their earlier adventures. The note said eloquently, "Eat me, fuck faces. I'm out." It was simple. It was simple, straight, and to the point. Ellis, have you ever heard this?
No, I haven't.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm so glad you're here, bro. I can't believe I said that. That actually made me a little nauseous. But
Hey, at least we know he's not reading it underneath there. He's not listening to us on them headphones. Mia's just sitting there reading it into his ears.
yeah, it's like say again. It was simple. Yeah, it was simple, straight and to the point. We all understood, and it hit us. Wow, we took it too far. He went to a place he knew from his childhood, a summer camp, where he and others like him could play and frolic in peace. It was deserted, run down, and had been abandoned for years. It was perfect for Nightstrike to be alone and rebuild his shattered life. Camp Hoopajoop would be his new home. The Never Enough Ammo bunch, feeling guilty about how hard they were on Nightstrike, piled into the Scrambler to bring him home. But after their latest adventure in the irradiated wastelands fighting the SJWs, the Scrambler looked like Sheriff Buford D. Justice's police car at the end of Smokey and the Bandit. Not to mention the car's bullet-ridden profanity on its quarter panel. The Scrambler was most definitely out of commission. The gang, comprised of CJ Sprinkles, who used to be CJ Bearcat, but to make Matt mad, he renamed himself CJ Sprinkles.
Far ahead now.
John Z, Mel the Nut, Benevolent Burrito, Caleb, Travis P11, and AC 97 all looked to their leader for guidance. Guidance they got. NEA screams, "To the bourbon!" G Webbs, Carlos, 04 Hemi, I carry my revolver in single action and steadily piled onto the roof of the Suburban. It was quite a posse, to say the least. But it was the best YouTube had to offer, which in itself was depressing at best. Midnight Range TM, aka Travis M. I had just changed my screen name at this point. Begrudgingly stay behind in case Nightstrike returned home. He had to finish proofreading Nightstrike's memoirs that he had been writing before his emotional disappearance. It was entitled "Yet Another Stain: The Disappointing Story of My New Blue Dress."
Damn. Has he heard this, by the way?
Yeah, and that's why the other
which is why everyone was telling Matt, for the love of God, save this.
Yeah,
like Midnight was saying, it wasn't so much the stories. The stories are good, but the reactions of all the panel, especially Nightstrike to this shit, was priceless.
Yeah. Him
That's
being
why
pissed off.
When I said I was going to read it the other day, Nightstrike was like, "No, don't do it, you son of a bitch."
No, these people don't know me or know me as the cool hip Nightstrike, not the
new one,
blue dress wearing Jonas.
Jonas.
Jonasita.
It was entitled "Yet Another Stain: The Disappointing History of My New Blue Dress." The gang aggressively logs into their individual YouTube accounts to chronicle their adventures, and NEA fires up the bourbon. "Let's go, guys. We're bringing our boy home." Because he can't help himself, as soon as Travis P11 was done reviewing everything inside of the Suburban, with a puff of black smoke, the overloaded Chevy pulled away with all of its heroes aboard. Unfortunately, Midnight Range TM could only watch as they vanished slowly into the hazy distance. But someday, he knew he would prove himself to be worthy. That's part 1. Part 2, the adventure begins. As time slowly passes, NEA and his gang of YouTube misfits comb the countryside for the missing Nightstrike, but no trace of the beloved hit-or-miss host could be found. Their hopes were fading as they pulled into yet another gas station to refuel, as they had done so many times before. They've been burning gas faster than NEA can burn a fried bologna sandwich. With all these miscreants piled aboard the bourbon, the Chevy's getting about 3 gallons to the mile, and unfortunately there were no non-essentials to ditch to lighten the load. I forgot about this. It did fare slightly better after John Z suggested maybe a vehicle more gas efficient would be better than NEA's war wagon, a Prius or Nissan Leaf perhaps. 04 Hemi grumbled to the others, I think we just found a non-essential. As the boys drove away after topping off the war wagon's tank and stuffing John Z's head up his own ass, John could hear Hemi's muffled voice fading into the distance. Fuck Springfield, fuck Rock River, and fuck you. As they pulled away from the gas station in John's self-colonoscopy, the boys saw a faded sign that read, Camp Hoopajoop, next right. G. Webbs yelled, turn right, I think I know where he is. NEA, forgetting how top-heavy the bourbon was, with the boys on the roof, pulled the wheel sharply to the right. The war wagon could hardly take the turn, got up on two wheels, and dumped yet another passenger off the roof, doing a monkey roll into the weeds. NEA screamed, who was that? G. Webbs exclaimed, CJ Sprinkles. Oh, said NEA. Fuck him. Ever since he changed his name from Bearcat, that guy's really been pissing me off. Defeated and knowing his adventure was over, CJ went back to his farm, where he was unsuccessfully attempting to grow donuts by planting sprinkles and watering them with the tears of snowflake SJWs. About 5 miles off the highway, the boys approached a sign hung over the road that at one time read Camp Hoopajoop, except now someone had scratched out, and it now read Camp Poco Ghibli. Hope filled the weary adventurers as they knew he had been here. Calling into the night for Night Strike was to no success. And as night approached, I carry my revolver in single action, being scared of the dark, suggested they should wait till morning to search more. He decided against staying and quickly Ubered the hell out of there. NEA deployed his emergency inflatable mattress he kept in the war wagon for impromptu baby making, dusted off the dried man gravy flakes, and told the boys to pile on and get some rest. And after Travis P11 did a quick review of the mattress, that's what they did. Sleeping soundly after stacking themselves on, knowing Travis had given the air mattress his seal of approval, as he had done with thousands of other random things on the voyage so far. Not being smart enough to bring Midnight Range TM to cook, the boys looked to NEA for a meal, and there was only one thing that could settle the bellies of these fierce warriors. In the morning, after a night filled with bitching, whining, and fried baloney farts, the crew arose. They abandoned the bourbon to search the grounds, and on Caleb's dumbass suggestion, this time they split up. Oh, shit. Hold on, I just lost my page there. There we go. We'll cover more ground this way. I'm sure nothing bad will happen. These words would come to haunt the boys in the day to come. As the crew left the bourbon, they heard a faint crunching sound and spun around, startled. Unfortunately, it was the war wagon rolling backwards into Lake Hoopajoop. It was gone, along with their supplies, their backup guns, and Travis P11's notes for the 47,000 things he had yet to do review videos on. They were devastated, yet they knew they had to push on for their friend Night Strike. Just then, the guys caught a flash of a shadowy figure in the distance, but vanished quickly into the brush. Could it be? They separated and began their search of the property. AC-97 took to the abandoned cabins to check for Night Strike. With no power in the cabins, they were blacker than the AR-15s at the bottom of Lake Hoopajoop. He wished he had never cured the glow he had in the previous adventure. He could use the illumination right now. It turns out he was only glowing because of a gluten intolerance. Go figure. As he crept his way into the darkness, AC-97 felt a chilling breath on his neck. He spun around, pulling his 9mm, and shoots. But the anemic 9mm has no effect. What? I was wrong. God damn it. Should have got a 40. The shadowy figure grabs AC-97 in one snappy movement. He is skinned, flipped inside out, and worn by the killer as a now gluten-free meat suit. 04 Hemi found himself in the old playground of the camp. As he searched, he mumbled to himself, fuck Springfield, fuck Rock River, fuck that swing set, fuck Feinstein, fuck Caltech, fuck that sliding board. He was especially grumbly today. The fried bologna was really kicking in now. He found a set of restrooms as he sat, and as he sat down to blow a deuce, he heard something, a faint dripping sound. He had no idea the killer was just outside the door, and the sound he heard was that of AC-97's blood dripping off the newly acquired meat suit. The door flew open, and the swirly that ensued was the most vicious that had ever been dealt out. So vicious, it was deadly. Yet another of our heroes was gone, to be continued. And that was part 2.
Was that a chocolate dip swirly?
That's not the first time that somebody has said that when I read this story. That's actually quite a common sentiment. Part 3, RC Crunch is the name of this part. As mid-morning arrives, Steadley and Caleb both having the same thoughts of breakfast after hearing their own rumbling bellies, run into one another at the old dining hall. Steadley had been checking mousetraps for cheesy nummies as he happened upon Caleb chewing on an old crusty boot he found in the dining hall's dilapidated bathroom. It tastes kind of like steak, he mumbled as he gnaws away. You would think these fucking guys hadn't eaten in weeks, but actually they hadn't really even missed a meal. But hey, everyone has different set of priorities, right? Being the true culinarians of the group, they put their treats together and, with a moment of true pride, created their masterpiece. Cheesesteak. It was the most god-awful representation of food ever concocted. An old boot with some old moldy cheese scrapings on it. It was right up there with coconut on a damn donut. They were so enthralled with their masterpiece, they hadn't heard the hall's creaking, rusty hinges as the killer crept into the room. But as he neared the two chefs, a squeaky floor gave up his presence. The two jumped up and turned to face the imposing monster, his AC-97 meat suit now drying like jerky on his hulking frame, brown and red with only a sliver of delicate blue fabric peeking out from underneath. Neither man had weapons within reach, so Steadley resorted to the first thing he could think of. He began to compliment the monster as Caleb affixed a note for help to his RC truck, in hopes that it would rescue them. Hey, that's a sweet suit, guy. You know where I could pick one of those up? The killer looks down at the bloody hide he is wearing and flips over the skin. A tattoo reading 9mm Master Race is seen, and the boys know that AC-97 was gone, and they were super fucked. The tattoo scared the shit out of Caleb, literally. A huge thud could be heard as it hit the floor. It was the Model 29 44 Magnum Caleb had been anally carrying the entire trip. He was a fan of super-dupe concealment and power over capacity, so it made pretty good sense. He picked up the massive, stinking piece of steel, and like a low-budget John Wick, he aimed to the killer and click. Uh-oh, nothing. The cylinder had opened during the trip, and the rounds must have fallen out, and along with some of the other stuff he found along the way were still inside of him. Nice job, Dirty Harry, Steadley screamed. The massive revolver was snatched from his hands and used to beat Caleb into a mushy pile on the floor in the dining hall. The killer picked up the stalled RC truck and looked toward Steadley. Hey, buddy, pal, guy. Nice job turning Caleb into meat goo. Couldn't have done it better myself, but I got to get moving. Big plans today. Cheaper Than Dirt's having a sale. This short statement infuriated the killer uncontrollably. With one powerful move, the truck was shoved up Steadley's ass, sideways, of course. My butthole! Crunch. Actually, the killer was pretty proud of this when he knew originality is highly regarded in the circle of serial killers, and this one would go down in history. As the killer left the hall, he heard the sound of splashing. It was Benevolent Burrito and Mel the Nut on the dock overhanging the lake. They were trying to devise a plan to get the bourbon out of the water. As they argued about how to get the job done, the grim figure watched their every movement from the shadows of a thick tree line. Just then, as the two looked deep into each other's eyes, lake, the killer made his move. Continuing his strive for originality, Burrito was grabbed and dragged into the tree line and mercilessly beaten into oblivion with his own shoe. The killer thought, oh man, I'm the shit. This one's going to go down in the record books. Mel, not noticing Burrito was gone, continued to push his ideas of how to raise the bourbon out of the lake. Let's give a Sasquatch a Four Loko and a Red Bull, and he can pull it out of the lake. Unbelievably, this was actually the best idea they had come up with. Yeah, it was a real brainstorming session for sure. By the time Mel saw Burrito was gone, it was too late. The killer had a hold of him. But Burrito, not being one to go without a fight, summoned all the strength he had and pushed away. He drew his .45 and squeezed the trigger. In a most unfortunate turn of events, the .45 ACP was so slow-moving, the killer could actually see the bullet coming out of the barrel and simply stepped out of the way. Burrito knew that he was in trouble, but had no idea quite the trouble he was in. The killer donkey punched Burrito so hard he fell into unconsciousness, waking up nearly a week later inside of a dark, cramped box. As Burrito tried to force his way out of the box, he caught a glimpse of huge white letters on the hillside through a tear in the side. Hollywood, it said. Burrito had been shipped to California, a place where no Second Amendment warrior could stand to live. He thought to himself, I'm as good as dead. He had lost his will to live. Part 4, Donuts and Cards. By midday, Night Strike had still not been found, but the men valiantly pushed on. Carlos began searching the rundown snack bar area by the pool when he came across a station set up for coffee and snack service, and he thought, now would be a great time to find some and a snack service, and he thought, now would be a great time to find something to shove into my pie hole. As he turned on the rusty faucet, and the old pipes spit out a noxious brown liquid that Carlos used to make a lumpy cup of gut-wrenching coffee. His obsession with Dippin'-style donuts overtook him as he reached into his shorts and pulled out his Long John. If you don't know what a Long John is, you're pretty lucky. It's a donut that gets overcooked on purpose, and nobody ever cares enough about to make delicious in any useful way. We learned during this time it was basically an eclair without any filling or chocolate. So it was just a long, dry-ass donut. I'm like, why the hell would somebody eat that piece of shit? As the killer peered through a crack in the snack wall bar, the sheer blue fabric under his meat suit rippled in the wind. He grew perplexed and filled with pure hate, the kind of hate you feel when somebody eats a quote-unquote donut from the bottom of the pastry food chain. Who the hell would want that thing? This guy's got to go. The attack was the most vicious yet and would be talked about for generations to come. The sadistic killer, with total disregard for Carlos's well-being, forced him to eat the Long John without dunking it. It was one of the most grisly scenes in history, his eyes red and bulging like he had seen Dianne Feinstein nude, stepping out of the shower, dripping with her gun-hate liberalism. The human body just can't survive an attack as demonic as this. It sadly was the last Long John Carlos would ever have slipped into his mouth. Just then, G-Webs burst through the wall of the snack shack. Although he doesn't disagree with the whole shitty Long John thing, he's determined to stop this killer once and for all. Even without a firearm, G-Webs, being the mountainous, rugged son of a bitch he is, lunges at the fierce adversary standing in front of him. The two scrap violently back and forth in the shack like Trump would with damn near anyone who has the balls to question him on Twitter. The killer stumbles after G-Webs lays one of his famous sprinkle-laden bitch slaps across his face, and G-Webs knows the time to strike is now. He summons up the power of his longtime superhero mentor and readies himself. G-Webs reaches into his bag, steadies himself, and pulls out his gun channels playing cards. Actually, makes sense because he just did the new set of these. Like Gambit, he begins to fire cards one after another at the monstrous killer. He gives it all he has, but his limpy wrists weaken quickly. After a dozen or so throws, he realizes the killer is unbelievably having no trouble taking the abuse. Honestly, he isn't really flinching or anything. It's kind of sad. G-Web stops to regroup his attack. He got to give it all he's got, but just at that moment, he's grabbed, his mouth stuffed with the remaining cards, and given a pile driver off the dirty snack shack counter. The devastating maneuver left G-Webs a full 6 inches shorter. We have yet another victim of the curse of Camp Poco Ghibli. Number 5, A Second Monster. The episode opens with NEA walking through the brush of an old trail road thick with overgrowth. He comes upon a rock pile on the side of the road. NEA thinks to himself, I know we've been talking about donuts a lot lately, but goddamn, those rocks look like they have a glaze on them, like a donut glaze. Text from Jimmy James. He reluctantly gets down to one knee and licks the rock. Tastes like it too. Although he's confused about the sweet lacquer's presence on the rocks, he decides to push on. He needs to find his compatriot Nightstrike. After a few short steps, NEA hears a familiar rumbling. What the sprinkles? How could it be? It's the Scrambler, now being piloted by Rock Humper himself. He was late to the search party's leaving due to his new job, and of course the impatient shithead crew left without him. After discussing the situation with Midnight Range TM, Rock Humper hopped into the dilapidated Scrambler and floored it, tearing out onto the road. Knowing the Scrambler could track the war wagon with GPS and radar, he followed the creeps, the beeps, and the sweeps right to Camp Hoopajoop. As Rock Humper barreled down the dirt road, he saw... Hold on one second. I gotta plug in my computer here. I did not realize I did not do that. We're about to lose our juice.
Plug it in.
Plug it in. Plug it in. All right, we're ready to go here. As Rock Humper barreled down the dirt road, he saw NEA flagging him down. He locked up the brakes and hopped out. They embraced. A solid man-love embrace. You know, like in a Lifetime movie. As Rock Humper looked at the landmarks around the Scrambler, he says, "Oh, I've been here before. This is my favorite place to come hump rocks." Yeah, right over there, pointing in the direction of the rocks NEA had been licking. Oh.
Good.
Brown chicken, brown cow. Holy balls, NEA thought. It wasn't donut glaze after all. It truly was a defining moment in his life. NEA tells Rock Humper to get his rock fucking ass back in the Scrambler so he can drive the trails and hopefully find Jonas or Nightstrike. As Rock Humper floored the pedal, something gave way. The Scrambler lurched forward, and with a loud bang from the rear and a wheeze from the engine, the car lost control and kaboom! It had punctured the gas tank on one of NEA's favorite lickin' rocks and exploded, throwing chunks of Rock Humper everywhere, raining down on NEA like when they used dynamite to blow up a beach whale. It was truly raining men on NEA, but unfortunately not how he would prefer. The explosion caught the attention of the killer. He rushes to NEA, and they square up to one another. Hold on a second here. There we go. Hold on, my thing skipped forward here.
This is the worst part of the story right here.
Yeah.
This reads better than 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I have to say, I do believe it's rather dragging in this section.
It'll get better. The explosion caught the attention of the killer. He rushes to NEA and they square up to one another. The killer was wielding one of Rock Humper's femur bones like a sword reminiscent of King Arthur with Excalibur and motions to NEA to bring it on. NEA reaches into the scabbard on his back and brings forth his Maverick 88. "Say hello to my boomstick." But before he get the barrel on point, the killer throws Rock Humper's femur, impaling NEA's hand, causing him to drop the 12 gauge and knocking him to the ground. I guess he should have just pulled the shotgun and fired, as he said the quote, but he was pushing the theatrics. From the woods comes Travis P11. He'd totally forgotten by now he was even supposed to be looking for Nightstrike. He'd been reviewing everything he comes across, walking around the woods, mumbling to himself and pointlessly doing reviews on sticks and leaves and piles of rocks and even his own shoelaces. He notices the trouble NEA is in, and as soon as he's done giving his shoelaces 5 stars, rushes to save him. He pulls out his sky, points it, to the killer, and of course, it fires. What? Huh? Oh, okay. Unfortunately, Travis P11, showing some poor trigger control, pulled the shot to the right and missed completely. But Travis P11 is a smart guy. He knew his luck had run out with the Sky. I mean, one shot in a row is a Sky record. So he threw the pistol as hard as he could at the killer, who in turn caught it and buried it in Travis P11's forehead, killing him instantly. Bummer. Should have went with a pointy stick, buddy. As NEA pulled himself up off the ground, he thought his nose deceived him. How in the hell do I smell fried chicken? Then a second monstrous shadowy figure appeared behind the killer. Holy fuckstick, it was the Yankee Marshal. His neckbeard still glistening from the greasy KFC he was out binging on in between making his rambling, holier-than-thou videos. I'm the Yankee Marshal. It sounded reminiscent of Festick pretending to be the Dread Pirate Roberts in The Princess Bride. But anyway, the impromptu fried chicken binge was due to a run-in he had just had with a werewolf, which left him inconsolably depressed. In a Murphy's Law moment, he found out his silver bullet was in fact totally ineffective due to the fact that he had never took the initiative to check to see if the round was actually live. Unfortunately, it was for quote-unquote display purposes only. No powder, no primer, and no kaboom. But thankfully, Yankee could resort to a skill he learned in college that got him out of a lot of trouble, made him some extra money, and also helped majorly boost his GPA. He dropped down to his knees, giving the beast a handy, and slipped away as it slept. It left Yankee safe and very satisfied. He drew on the killer, but as once before, he neglected to fully extricate the revolver from its holster and blew a pretty nice-sized chunk out of his own foot. He screams, winces in pain, and falls to the ground, his foot oozing blood and waking the slumbering werewolf. The gruesome beast leaps upon Marshall and slashes at him with his razor-sharp talons. It was such an aggressive assault, there was no hope for the self-proclaimed #1 internet gun expert. Yankee looked like a pile of ground beef when the beast was done with him. It was pretty amazing to see, actually. With the attack over, the monster casually relieved himself on the shredded Yankee Marshal and strolled away. It was, in fact, the first documented man-werewolf domestic violence case in history. The killer mumbles under his breath, wow. Damn. All right, well, there you go. And turns his attention back to the shaken NEA. There seems to be no hope for the gang's leader. To be continued. Shit hit the fan story time, part 6. NEA is in trouble, and so is Matt? He was face to face with the fiend. Fight or flight was not an option, and NEA knew he was going to have to throw down with the killer. Our hero set the tone. I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Unfortunately, right around the word kick, the killer pounded his bloody fist into NEA's mouth. Honestly, NEA really needs to forgo the theatrics during fights. It keeps getting his ass beat. But I digress. NEA distracts the killer by spitting his busted teeth into his face and kicking him in the nuts. Although it had little effect, it was almost like the killer had no testicles. The killer snaps NEA's head back with a brutal uppercut and a kick to the chest. NEA scrambles to his feet, wheezing and bleeding, his heart aching from the kick to the chest, and retreats to one of the dark cabins. The killer slowly follows NEA down to one. The killer slowly follows NEA and finds him on one knee in the corner of the rundown cabin. He hasn't farewelled from the beating dealt out by the monster. As dusk approaches, NEA wonders if the sun is about to set on his life as well. As the killer confidently swaggers towards NEA, he rips off AC-97's now crusty skin, revealing the dirty, grizzled face of a murderer. The sight takes away what little breath NEA has left. The tattered blue dress that was revealed told the story of the killer. The crew's leader couldn't believe his own eyes. Jonas? Honestly, that was probably the last thing NEA should have said. Nightstrike flew into a blind, hate-filled rage. He seemed unstoppable. NEA stood with defiance and squared up once again with the berserker Nightstrike. But this time, he was the one to motion to begin, and Nightstrike was happy to oblige. The two men rumbled, giving it all they had, knowing they both could not survive. NEA had no idea the earlier kick to his chest had done so much damage until it was too late. His chest burning and aching. He began to feel the pain shoot down his arm. His injured heart could not take the fight. He was fading, and he fell to the floor. Nightstrike, seeing his opportunity to really add insult to injury, walks up to the defeated NEA and unzips his pants. This could get pretty brutal, and NEA is powerless to ward off Nightstrike. As NEA fades, he hears a familiar sound. Ka-chick! It was the sound of an AK being charged, and he knew it was Hungarian. It was an AMD 65. Just as the realization hit, all hell broke loose. Boom, 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 boom. Fireballs from the darkness proved that this AMD had the original 12.5-inch barrel. Even laying dying, NEA thought to himself, nice. As NEA fades away, he at least has the satisfaction of seeing the 7.62s from MidnightRangeTM's rifle tearing through the killer's body. He had finished Nightstrike's memoirs and come to help the search party. At first, seeing Nightstrike unzipping his pants in front of NEA, other Travis thought the two were having another one of their "it ain't gay if you high five afterwards" and say "good game, bro" rendezvous. But catching a glimpse of AC-97's lifeless body quickly let Midnight know what was happening. NEA was now dead, and the bullets ripped through Nightstrike's body. He pulled a knife from its scabbard and threw it at the chest of Midnight, piercing his heart. The two had pulled each other's tickets and laid bleeding until darkness came for both. Nightstrike's final words being, "I said it before. I'll say it again. Eat me, fuckfaces. I'm out." As darkness falls to black, a hand reaches in, yanking Matt out of his room by his goatee, and screams fill Matt's ears. "God damn it, Matt. What kind of fucked up bedtime story are you telling our children?" The swift hand of motherly justice comes down on top of Matt's head. It's holding the world's greatest dad mug, but apparently not today. As she points her finger and yells, "Now get in there and fix it." He pokes his bleeding head into the terrified children's bedroom and says, with a big smile, hey, just kidding. Night-night, gotta go. He goes and sits in front of his computer with the chamomile tea he always says is actually vodka. And with a deep sigh, looks at who's chatting. Bleh, these assholes again. The real mystery of the whole story is why Matt would even add the part about the glazed rocks. That shit's gross. I don't know. Maybe just likes the idea better than eating sprinkles. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you for listening to my story. I hope you enjoyed it. That's it. Yeah, Scott Pacini said, "I thought Jonas's final words were going to be Tuesday night at 9 o'clock-ish, sort of, kind of."
Or shall not be infringed.
There you go. Yeah.
One who strikes at night.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that belongs on Pornhub.
Yeah, that would be a good Pornhub one. Yeah.
It's one who strikes at night as long as it's before 9 p.m.
Yeah. That's right.
Well,
only if you go to the ruins of the PSA Armory and use the magic tune.
I was just informed he's actually
been hit or miss.
The one that strikes at night is actually over on Road Calls chat with the Rantin' and Raven.
Oh, they're doing a rant and rave. There you go. Well, don't tell them we just did that. I'll come over here and give me all sorts of hell.
So who wrote that, Travis?
I did.
Well, you need to write another one. That was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I thought, and I'll tell you what. What was funny was I had wrote like the first. Obviously, you just did like parts. You know what I mean? Like part 1, part 2, part 3. Mm-hmm. I did like part 1 and part 2, and then we actually went on vacation. And it actually gave me a chance to write it, or I would have never got the damn thing done. So I just kind of pounded it out while we were on vacation and sent him a bunch of them, and then he read it over a couple of weeks. He would read like one section every week. You know, there was other ones. There was some other people that did some. I actually have I have one from Phoenix in my email right now that he started to write one, and I keep bugging him to do another one, to do a part 2, so that I can start. I'll start reading it. So you guys got to get on him about it, because it's pretty funny. It's actually really good. It's a good start to a story.
I mean, I'm just picturing this in a comic book format as you're reading it.
That's originally what it was supposed to be. Yep. G-Web was one of G-Web's money-making schemes. He wanted to do a comic book, and he needed stories for that. So Rock Humper started writing stories. Then nothing happened. Then a bunch of us started writing some other stories.
Yeah.
Just that we've never been able to find artists or anyone who actually finishes stories.
Yeah, it never just kind of never panned out. But yeah, Rock Humper did the first one, and it was just like, it was kind of out of nowhere. And Matt just read it one day. He's like, "Hey, I got this story," and he read it, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is awesome! This is awesome!" And it just kind of became a thing. And then when his was done, went a couple of weeks. Phoenix is telling me to read his. You guys want to hear Phoenix's?
Yeah, sure.
Let's see, I gotta find it on my phone here. I know I have it here somewhere. So yeah, it just after a couple of weeks, people were like, "Somebody needs to do one. Somebody needs to do one." And I was like, screw it, I'll do one. I've always been a fan of horror. Like I said, I've always been a fan of horror movies. So it gave me a chance to do that. Let me see here.
I think your story put Ammo to sleep.
It's possible.
I think it almost put Sarge to sleep. I thought nodded off a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crap. Well, you know what,
Need
though?
a little more Kofifi.
I'll catch you guys later because I got to be up in a few. Oh, crap.
Yeah, Grim. See you, buddy.
So,
Yeah, Grim.
I'll be listening. Wait, who the fuck is Jonas?
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
That was another classic one.
That's another one. A lot of people don't know.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh wait, never mind.
Yep. All right.
All right, later, guys.
Take care.
So
Graham.
this is
Figure.
this is by Phoenix, and it's called entitled "Encounter at the Dirt Bar." This is part 1. Now, if we read this one, then he's got to write a second one.
Well, let's hear it first before we start getting his hopes up.
That's true. Maybe that's not a great idea. A few weeks after we last left our beloved heroes, gravel crunches as the dirty Suburban barrels down the dirt road and pulls out onto the highway. The Suburban slows down and pulls off at the first exit, pulling into a parking lot. There's a couple missing words, but the remaining word "dirt" is still lit with a wooden sign hanging underneath saying "bar." The Suburban pulls around back and parks. The driver's side door opens and Matt gets out, flipping double birds, yelling, "Go fuck yourself, Midnight Range TM." There are no redeeming qualities to sprinkles. Midnight exits the passenger side and shaking his head, laughing, while Ghost Tactical and Clover Tech climb out of the back doors. That sounded a little, I don't know. Okay. Ghost Tactical and Clover Tech are climbing out the back doors. Looking around the parking lot, there's a yellow Hummer H2 with the number 3 painted on the side, a beat-up ambulance with Raccoon City EMS on the side, and a dirty black and gold Trans Am. Ghost looks at the plate reading Phoenix and says, "Cute," then shakes his head. A white cargo van with free Wi-Fi and candy painted on the side is parked next to the Trans Am. Clover points out a black primered car and says, "Look at that car." Hold on a second. Well, that's weird. Skipped ahead again. Clover points out a black primered car and says, "Looks just like the car from Mad Max, doesn't it, guys?" As they all head inside, off in the corner sits what must be 20 large skyboxes and a ton of magazine packaging wrappers. From behind the pile comes a voice about damn time, says Travis P11. Stands up. "Oh, hey guys, we've been waiting for you." Midnight smiles and nods, saying, "Other Travises," to which Travis replies, "Fuck you, I was here first." Not very nice at all. Looking around as the guys approach the bar, the guys see a lot of familiar faces. Moobutt, Grim 90, AC 97, Biker Bob, Mel the Nut, Alan B. Pro, Smeggy 42, Psycho Camp, and many more. At the bar stands a man with his back to them wearing a Duke Nukem backpack. Cigar smoke flowing upwards, saying, And there I was. My IO had just broken on me. Matt calls out, "Damn it, Jonas, are you telling that same old story again?" Then orders a round of drinks. So, how long are we planning on hanging out here? Clover asks. Because you know those assholes aren't far behind us. Ghost replies, just long enough to enjoy these beverages and refill our supplies. Midnight turns a little green, looking... Man, why does I keep skipping out like that? Jesus. Midnight turns a little green, looking over what passes for food at the other table. He sighs, muttering, I really miss my seasonings. From the front, Moobot calls out, shit, guys, it looks like we got company. It's Schumer, Pelosi, and their Antifa zombies. Well, most of the gun channel's crew quickly takes up firing positions. Loud rifle fire from behind the sign atop the bar rings out, where none other than Heavy B and Pink Panther started letting them have it with their pair of Barrett M107As, A1s. The bar's windows are quickly busted out or shot out as the gang and the libtards start trading fire. Mel, Alan, and Psycho Camp try to sneak out the back and flank the right side before getting pinned down behind a pair of large blue dumpsters under the heavy fire of the Antifa zombies. Alan, being rather new to the crew, starts to panic a little. Pelosi calls out over the bullhorn, surrender now and give up your weapons or die, you heathens. A smiling Chuck Schumer approaches them with a squad of Antifa zombies in tow. Alan, really starting to lose it, rocks back and forth, muttering, shall not be infringed, shall not be infringed. Getting himself back under control, he fires around the side of the dumpster, yelling, what part of shall not be infringed do they not get? No sooner than the words left his mouth, as if by magic, a primer black 73 Ford Falcon XB GT tears ass through the parking lot, thunderstruck by AC/DC blaring out the window as the car plows down Chuck Schumer and his squad of Antifa zombies. The outlaw lets out a rebel yell while unloading an H&K MP5 from the passenger side. Mel the Nut smiles, calls out, anyone catch who was driving that thing? No, says Cycle Camp. But the rear plate read Jonas. Pelosi, seeing the Schumer hitting the fan, dives into her black government issue Tahoe and takes off, abandoning her troops. Back inside the bar, Midnight, ducking below a window, screams out, damn it, Matt, will you at least try my coconut souffle? One bite isn't going to kill you. Then pops up and empties a pair of Chris Vectors at the Antifa zombies. From the next window, Matt yells, no, damn it. Then pops up and empties 6 rounds from a 45-70 rifleman style before the lever action clicks empty. Matt ducks back down, yelling to himself, why is it I never have enough ammo? Which can barely be heard over Ghost and Clover's rapid fire. A white stallion gallops from the left side of the building. I don't even remember this. A white stallion gallops from the left side of the building. Its rider emptying a drum-fed AK-47 into the last remaining Antifa zombies. Amish drive-by motherfuckers. Amish drive-by motherfuckers, yells Moo Butt with a shit-eating grin on his face. To be continued.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah, that was a good one too. I keep telling them to do more, to add to it.
You have to have a second part to that one, dude. Come on now.
Yeah, even if you don't do it, I mean, that, even if you don't do a whole lot, I mean, do 1 or 2. Amish drive-by motherfuckers. Oh man.
Someone's got to make a sticker out of that.
Yeah, that's actually, you know what? Now you mention it, I don't know that anybody's ever done a shit hit the fan. You know, even if they did SHTF Storytime as a patch or a sticker, I don't think anybody's ever done that. That's a good idea. I can't believe nobody's ever done that. You could put like SHTF Storytime and then put, either, like, Rock Humper under it or Midnight under it, or like this one could have Phoenix under it or something. And you could
I'm saying
series.
an Amish drive-by motherfucker sticker or patch. Someone's got to make that.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty brilliant too. You could probably make a shitload of money off that one. G-Web should do that. Just says clip clop, and then has like a horse and buggy. Clip clop, bang bang, and then a horse and buggy on it with like an AR-15 sticking out the side or something. Yeah, that would be a good one. Pizza is nice, Dragon. The Jonas is not enough. James Bond theme. Oh, very good.
Yeah, that's the first one that's the first one I've actually heard that I was mentioned in. So,
yeah,
when relatively new outlaw.
When I wrote mine, I don't think you were around when I wrote mine. If you were, it was very new. You were very new. I mean, I wasn't even here that long. I don't even know when I wrote that. I wrote mine. Probably says it here.
He's already got
July.
notes for part 2. G-Webs is kidnapped and they have to chase across the states.
Well, now don't be giving us the plot line. You're going to spoil the story.
Well, you gotta have, even good movies have previews. So I did mine in
where a faceless man is kidnapped and friends have to chase him across the state.
Mine were done in July of last year, this past July. So I don't know when you showed up, Ellis.
About that time.
Yeah, it was probably pretty new. Yeah, there's a couple guys in mine that I haven't seen in a long time. Like CJ, I haven't seen CJ in forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's kind of funny. You talk about something like this, and you're like, oh, I haven't seen them in forever. Or, it's pretty funny. So that's the story times. 2 of them, anyway. Well, mine and the beginning of one, and then you'd have to. Well, actually, I might have Rock Humpers on here. I don't know.
Like the actual text, or
yeah, like actually, Matt reading it. I thought I did at one time.
You sure it's not his love-making video he sent you?
Yeah.
No. I've got like the last half of Rock Humper's stories in audio format.
Yeah.
Because I went and pulled all the doorbell. Went and pulled the audio and edited them together from their 2.5-hour podcast into just story time.
Mm-hmm. Did you do that with all of Rock Humpers?
I was only able to find the last half of them, simply because when Matt started reading the first couple, he didn't label the podcasts. But then once it started becoming kind of a regular feature, it was, shit at the fan story time, shit at the fan story time. So
I'll tell you what, man, people were, when he started doing that after like the first one, I remember he read the first one and everybody was like, dude, this is funny. Like it needs to be a thing. And then it was like, as soon as his show had started, it'd be like, it was like, planned,
story time?
You know what
story
I mean?
Time? Story time?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
He's like, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? Yeah. He's like, well, let's do this. Or he would say like, well, I don't know. What do you guys want to do? You want to talk about this or story time? Or I'd be like, story time. And it was, it was like a huge part of his show. It was like a hit. It was like a huge hit for him.
Story time, Papa, Matt. Story time.
Yeah. Tell me a story, Papa. Papa, no. Yeah, it was good stuff.
You saying that like that kind of scares me.
That was the intent.
Papa. Yeah, that was good shit. Yeah, it was funny because it was like it was more popular than anything I'd ever been in the chat for. You know what I mean? Like you when his chat went live, it was like, all right, let's get to it. Let's go. Let's hear it. You know, it was exciting. It was fun.
Yeah, it kind of revitalized Monday nights.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a huge part of geek.
He needs to pick that back up, or somebody else does. That was great. That was about the time I started watching, was when a lot of that was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I I can start trying to. I definitely can't guarantee I could get one every week, but I got some notes started for a new one, but I just need to get some time to do it.
I think it's better when you got everybody doing a separate story and you get some new ones every time.
Yeah, kind of like an anthology series.
Yeah.
Which was the original idea behind the comic, actually.
You know, I bet Gunpowder would come up with some good shit.
Yeah, she probably would. I bet hers would be pretty funny. Yeah.
Be pretty fucking violent, guarantee that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, violent, the things that sell. Ultra violence and sex.
Hey, you want to get
in a book form?
Hey, you want to get your channel shut down? Here, read this. This story by Gunpowder.
And her throat punching glove.
You better put that one on GunTube.
She finds an old Nintendo Power Glove in a dumpster and uses it to wreak havoc upon the throats of the world.
So this is like the NC-17 version of The Wizard?
Yeah. The Wizard. That movie was a huge movie back then. That was such a big deal for such a dumb movie. For Super Mario Brothers 3.
I've never seen it.
No, it's huge. It's got Fred Savage. And it was the first time anybody had seen Super Mario Brothers 3. It was like if you were that age when you were, when that first came out, if you were into the new Nintendo, like, I mean, if you talk about the geek, I'm sure the guys on the Geek Chat they're all the same age. That was like a huge thing, man. When you found out that they were going to reveal what it looked like and actually see the gameplay and stuff, that was like, people freaked out for that, man.
I don't even think I was alive when that was made.
Maybe, but you might have been super little. Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, if I was, you say you're like 26, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have been. It might have been right around when you were born.
91-ish.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Well, Midnight, how old are you?
I was born in 79. 38. The end of the December of 79, so it's like at the very end of the year. So it's kind of weird.
Holy shit! You mean we share a birthday month?
A butt day? You say butt day? No.
Birthday, yes. Birthday.
Oh,
He suddenly turned into the water boy.
December 19th.
Mine's the 16th.
I'm the 21st of December.
Nice.
Well, now, since everyone's giving out their birthdays, could I also get your social security numbers and blood type?
Yes.
235.
Get out of mine.
235. Did you get that?
I can mail you a urine sample while we're at it too.
Yeah, straight through the internet.
Yeah. Just let me hook up the hose and the cables and the Commodore 64 and the cuddle cart, and we'll get right on that.
Wow. Yes. Well. If anybody is anybody else in here from Psycho? You're PA, right? Psycho 316. Anybody else here in PA? I don't think so.
Well, you're probably the only one that would actually admit to it.
I think most
PA's
PA's
pretty. PA's not bad. PA gun laws are pretty cool. Wizard Psycho says Wizard came out in 89.
So you were 10 years old when that came out.
Somewhere around there. Depends on what time of the year. Like I said, your birthday too. It's kind of weird because you're at the very end of the year.
Yeah. People always assume you're a year older than you actually are, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, Phoenix said the trick to any shit hit the fan story time is to throw in all the inside ongoing jokes from the chats as possible. And that's it. Like, honestly, if somebody out there is going to write one, if you're thinking about writing one, keep it. The biggest thing you got to do is get a notebook and just keep it with you, as much as possible when you're watching chats. And when something becomes like a fucking running gag, then you just start writing that stuff in there. It's funny.
Yeah, I actually
Psycho
started writing a story for Storytime about the Travi.
Oh.
Yes, and I've got 2 parts written.
Resistance is futile.
Well, I mean, it better be good because it better be good, Ellis, because he kicked your ass out earlier.
Oh, it's fucking great. But see, here's the thing. Midnight's getting his ass kicked by Night Strike. I think that's where I left it off. So yeah, it's always good.
It makes sense.
Are you sure you're writing it? It's not like you got a notebook by your bed, and every time you wake up, there's a little more written in it.
That would be cool as shit.
Well, I'm just thinking that if Jonas was kicking Midnight's ass, you might have a extracurricular visitor in your place.
Why am I waking up with a heart on and there's more stuff written in this book and I was dreaming about Midnight last night?
Well, for the record, I have never had a dream about Midnight. And if I ever did, I'd probably bleach my brain.
Let us know how that turns out for you, because the sad fact is, now that that thought is entered into your head and planted and taken seed, you will be having a dream about Midnight.
They say that you dream every night. I don't remember my dreams if I do.
Well,
I can't remember the last dream that I had.
It depends on
how simple. You're going to be standing there washing dishes at the Waffle House, and Travis is going to walk up to you and beat you over the head with one of his pancakes.
That was one of the things that we were going to mention too. Was I can't believe. See, this tells me right here that people aren't as up on current events as they should be. Is that there was a shooting at a Waffle House today, and the dude's name was Travis.
See, you fuckers are trying to take over the world.
That's right. See?
Well, everybody wants to rule the world.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Oh God, you're out. You're done. You're gone.
This is not the never enough ammo drunken karaoke super family fun time.
All right. Sarge says he's ready for CP time. So Sarge, wants time. CP time. CP. So
TP time, something different than
you hit. Do you hit 700 subs already? Was that I heard?
Who did?
You did, didn't you?
630. But I'm happy with 630. I'm getting there. Very happy.
I could have swore I heard you say yesterday you hit some sort of milestone, and I thought, holy shit, he hit 700 already because you hit 600 last week.
No. 630. We're getting there slowly. Yeah,
that's
pretty
cool.
happy.
That's a lot. I mean, that's 30 in a week. That's a lot. That's great.
Yeah, you got my channel in a week.
Yeah.
Just keep plugging away. They just slowly happen.
No, yeah. Well, the more you get, the faster they come too. I mean, it's like when you only have 10 or 20, you get like one a week.
Yep.
It's tough. I mean, it's nice. Like Snowy, you and like some of the other guys. And Tardot too. Tardot's coming on quick. Being on some of the other guys' chats and that kind of stuff. That's where you get them. That's where you pick up a lot of subs from. I have a hard time because I just can't join enough subs or join enough chats. When I do, you pick them up pretty quick.
Yeah, after every chat, I'm always getting new subscribers and stuff like that, which is awesome. And the only weird one was, what was it? I was on last night, and 1 minute I go and look, and I got 38 subs, and I must have pissed somebody off because I lost one.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, or sometimes they get unsubscribed, like by themselves. It happens too. All of a sudden, somebody will be like, "Hey, why the hell am I not subbed to you anymore?"
Yeah, we were talking about that because that happened with Black Cat. Because I know I subscribed to him, and all of a sudden yesterday night I went and looked, and I wasn't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Sarge, if you're going to bolt, you want to give us a little. You can give us a any info? Anything going on with the channel? Anything you want to say?
Well, I appreciate the invite. This is 2 weeks in a row for me. I had a good time. No, I think I can't do it tomorrow because unfortunately I gotta go in on my day off tomorrow. But Wednesday,
I hear you.
Wednesday, I've got a little camera time scheduled, so I get back to a little more produced content. So, and then if anybody's not doing anything, check back in Thursday night, 8 p.m. East. Shoot me an email if you want a link, and we'll sit here. We're going to chat about. Boomer and I are going to chat about bedside guns. What guns do you keep beside the bed? Home defense, and how do you safely store them? Something like that. So
yeah,
when he's not doing anything, stop in. But
yeah, that's cool.
I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Great having you. I loved your topic the other day too, man. If you guys haven't watched, if you guys didn't watch Sarge's show from the other day with what was it called? The Guns of Our Fathers? Is that what?
Yeah, Guns of Our
the
Fathers.
title was? Yeah,
that was
great topic.
That was Boomer's idea. It worked out well.
Yeah,
so
great topic. I had to excuse myself to make a phone call at work and jump on to talk to you guys a little bit. That was a great topic.
I was like, you went from 1 minute you were covered up and busy, and then bam, there you were.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna take. I'll be right back. Yeah, that was a good one because it's milsurps and older guns is something. I think when you get older, you start appreciating them more. Things with history and character, and when you're young, you want something that's got a big rail on it and holds lots of ammo, and you can put it's got a light on it and two different lasers on it and blah blah blah, all that shit. But I think when you get a little bit older, you start looking at guns as like, wow, this has history. This is cool. This is something to talk about. And that's really neat.
Check your email, Travis.
I got a picture of Ellis's wiener.
Well, that would not be impressive at all.
Does it at least have chili and sauerkraut on it?
Yeah.
A picture of my wiener would not be impressive.
Later, Sarge.
Night, Sarge.
Oh, look at that! We got a story time for next week, guys. Yep, we got one. Good to go, and it's even got words and everything.
So it's
next
legible?
time on Midnight Range TM's The Closer.
That's
Outlaw
right.
Hatfields shit at the fan story time.
That's right. We'll have to, you guys. We'll have to let everybody know. You guys have to let everybody know tomorrow in Matt's chat that we'll do story time next week. Maybe we can get some new viewers.
Yeah. Just make sure you don't start until I'm off working home.
Off working home.
Well, it's on Sunday. Do you work on Sundays?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I won't start until you're here for sure.
Well, I won't get off until 10. Probably won't be home till 11:30 midnight. So.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem. Whatever you need, however long it takes you to get off.
I mean, that's better than 8 or 9 seconds it takes me.
Hey,
actually, upon further review, how is it you haven't been able to keep a girlfriend? Then Outlaw, if it takes more than 8 seconds.
That's true.
A series of unfortunate events. Yes.
He talks too much.
California, or her husband came back.
I actually had that happen once.
Her husband came back from California, or you were in California?
No, I've never been to California. It wasn't actually her husband; it was her boyfriend that I didn't know about.
Well,
I tell you, guns don't kill people. Boyfriends that come home early do.
That's true. It's not really your fault, but it is bullshit.
Oh, I agree. And I was not a happy camper.
What the hell, Jen? I thought you said today was a safe day.
Yeah. Hey, Alan Anchor was here.
You didn't tell him to give you a few minutes?
No. She rushed me out, and I asked her what the hell the problem was. She said she'd tell me later. So later she told me. I was like, okay, well, thanks for informing me. That was nice. I'll talk to you never.
I don't mind sneaking around on your husband, but I kind of like to know beforehand that you have a husband.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and how big he is, right?
Does he own a gun?
Yeah.
Wait, what? He owns a Chris Vector? Hi, Steve. I've been fucking your wife. Can I see your Chris Vector?
Yeah, barrel first.
Or like with Hatfield, he might come back and say, I've been fucking the wrong person if he's got a Chris Vector.
Come here, darling.
If you let me shoot your Chris Vector, we'll cuddle. Do some cuddling.
Throughout that time. I'm not gay, but I can probably learn to be.
That's right.
Actually, when I was at Palmetto yesterday, they had one in the case.
Ooh.
$1,100.
And they really had to scrub that case down after you walked away, right?
Yeah, they probably did.
After Hatlaw left, it was no longer an $1,100 gun. It was, just melted.
Get this fucker out of my shop.
I think they gave it to the next guy that looked at it.
You know, you ever see the little windshield wipers on the headlights on like a Mercedes? They have those on the outside of the display case that the Chris Vector is for Ellis. He walks in front of it and looks at it, and then the little windshield wipers go squeak, squeak, squeak.
Well, actually, that's the only way they can get them to back up enough.
Well, if they had it for $1,100, I fucked up. I bought a Tavor for $18.
Hey, there's a snack behind you.
Snick. No step on snack.
No.
Don't squish the pussy.
You think the cat just farted in your ear?
No, it was good. So if you guys look in the background, I have a fish tank back there, and I used to have a silver arowana in there, and it was about 2.5 feet long. She would crawl on top of there, so we had to put glass on, and she'd be sticking her head or her paw in there. One time the arowana, because it can open its mouth, almost ended up getting her arm and pulling her in there. She never get jumped on that tank again. She wouldn't even look at the fish when it would stare at her.
Like, oh fuck, I'm not the top of the food chain here.
Yeah, well, and then on top of that, she would sit there and she'd start looking at it, and she never realized until the fish did it for the first time. But those silver arowana can actually jump double their height out of the tank if they want to, or out of the water, because they're called the water monkeys. And all of a sudden, she's sitting there one day, and the arowana gets real pissed and jumps and hits the glass, and it moves all the glass, the light, and everything. I've never seen this cat run so damn fast across the apartment. She wouldn't come out of a corner for an hour.
Water monkey? That sounds racist as hell.
Are there any fine water monkeys? Could be a long lost relative of fine apes.
That's like
that speciesist.
It's like Eskimos.
I'm a primate,
Mexicans.
God damn it! Even though I do have a tail.
And by the way, guys, there's actually a gun out there that I have found that might take the place of that Chris Vector that I'm wanting so bad.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Yes. It's the CZ805 Bren.
Well, I thought you were going to say you finally gave in and wanted a Jennings.
No. I just think that Bren is a damn good looking gun, man.
So I'm on my roll calls chat on my phone. Should I tell them that we did story time and they missed it? Night Strike's over there.
Yes. Sure. How about let's all go to the roll call chat.
Say, hey, Night Strike 1, you missed story time.
What the hell's he doing awake this time of night anyway?
Do we really want to know? Snowy, quick, where's your cat?
It honestly, it never even occurred to me that I could be on one chat on my phone and fuck with people and still do my own chat. It just occurred to me like a light bulb just went off.
I think she needs to be
he's probably lounging around in that tattered blue dress.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tardart, where is your other half?
Probably smoking. She was watching roll calls chat.
Hey, general relativity's over there. That son of a bitch left here to go over there.
Oh shit! I forgot about that. She can't Uber.
Sandhills over there. They got 5 people watching.
I bet you I could start one up and have 25. Quick.
Yeah, you get good counts when you open up these late night ones.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that time slot that I took on Thursday is great. Ever since I started in that consistent time slot, I've been getting a hell of a lot more viewers than I was originally.
Well, that's my old time slot. So yeah, I told you that's a good one.
Ape is over there trolling.
Trolling, troll high.
Oh, Tardot, don't let your wife forget that she's doing a one-on-one interview with me tomorrow night, 11 Eastern.
I'm glad you let me know because she hadn't told me anything about that.
Clover Tax.
To let her know.
Clover Tax saying we should all start one. Should start one. What?
What chicken butt?
What chicken butt?
Probably a late night chat.
Yeah.
Or a shit hit the fan story time.
No, last time I started,
I've never finished mine.
Yeah, completely.
So,
live chat.
I'm going to have to give Clover a super chat next month. That's at least $10.
Why? What happened?
Well, he's got this wonderful Lee Enfield.
Oh, do it Tulsa style. He says we all should all of us open up a chat.
Oh yeah, like you're in my chat, you in my chat. We all in this chat, and we can't all talk to each other like we're actually here, but we're not.
And the only problem with that is you can only have one Hangouts open at a time. So.
Well, now hold on here. Weren't we talking before because there was a 10 unit limit on the chats of having, or someone figured out how you could have like 10 people, then through like one of those 10 people, they could have another 10 people or something like that. And you take all the Googles.
Yeah, take all the Googles. I'll have all the Googles.
First, you get the chat, then you get the idiots to join, then you take all the Googles, then you get nothing.
Like we could.
So if this will let me screen share, I'll show you guys the best thing that's been sent to me over the last.
We could watch Roll Call's chat on my chat.
Because I don't like the whole fact.
Look, there's Night Strike.
How Night Strike is being portrayed.
Is he not happy? Is he fuming in his trailer?
And it's borderline slander.
Wow, that
hook on song's
done really work for him, boy.
Is he talking about shit at the fan story time there?
So I'll ask him what
I don't know. He hates me.
Missing out on some stuff.
Oh, he hates everyone.
This picture that, that's
awesome.
honestly the best thing I've had sent to me. I had to go on Instagram right away.
Walking the dog level expert. That's funny.
Dog's like, God damn it, motherfuckers. I have to walk and you're riding your ass through the sky? Fuck you. Just for that, I'm taking a shit in your bunk.
Clover Tag, would you say there's a plethora of Googles? There's oodles of Googles.
Not Googles and oodles?
Like oodles and noodles? There's oodles.
Oodles and noodles?
Yeah, poodle noodles. That's what.
Poodles and noodles and noodles. Oodles of poodle noodles.
Do you Google your noodle?
You can Google your noodle. No, I know.
You know, I tried that once, but the clamping thing just really made it bleed a whole lot.
Phoenix says Night Strike is just plain un-American. He doesn't like shit hit the fan story time or free pizza. Now I have said the whole time, ever since I did that, ever since I wrote that thing, he is a badass in that story. He whoops everybody's ass. He just turns people inside out. He murders them. He beats them to death. And he's like, man, I don't like it. You're like the most badass killer ever.
He doesn't like it because, I don't know, he just kind of focuses on the negatives. Of, the blue dresser. Yeah. Oh, he's the likable oaf. But then he doesn't pay attention to the fact that, dude, you just like killed 300 people with an IO.
Right. Yeah, with his bare hands. He just wrecked 10 people with his bare hands. He killed everybody else in gun channels.
And he's like the Wizard of Oz. Giving Flippy back his groove and his Korth.
How Flippy got his groove back. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Dress. Oh, well.
Outlaw's over there asking what he's bitching about.
What's that?
Oh, I'm just scrolling back up through the comments on Roll Call's chat. Nice try, missed. Oh, let's see. So, Foodie Travi, me, Phoenix, then Outlaw. All ask saying story time. You missed it. Then apparently Outlaw caught it when Jonas was whining about it.
Yeah, I asked him what he was bitching about.
Quit your bitching. It's done funny. I don't care who you are.
We need Russ Carr in here to give us a little Russ Carr 316 action.
You know who you're missing? You're missing RL and Alan B. Pro.
Yeah, I don't know, Alan. Well, they do their own show too. They're usually live when I go live, so they're already live when I go live, so it's hard. Him and Scotsman. Scotsman stopped over the last couple. Well, so did Alan, but they might even still be live. Who knows?
No, they're not.
Sometimes those guys go fucking forever too.
They were off air when I got home. So
yeah,
they always send me a link. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't.
G didn't do a late night chat either. He didn't do like a van chat or anything, did he?
He had one scheduled.
Yeah, he's live right now.
Yeah.
Oh, he is?
I've been having it really weird.
Strudels.
Like today, all my notifications because I have them set for every time someone goes live, and all of them haven't come through until after the chat's done. Like never enough ammos earlier, I didn't see. Clover Tech and Ghost, I didn't see until it was over.
Well, the whole notification thing, if you don't interact with the channel and all that stuff, that's such bullshit too. Like they don't give you the notification if you don't have interaction with the channel or whatever.
Hey, you say that, but I somewhat believe it because the more the channels that I'm making comments on more, I get more notifications.
No, I don't mean it's bullshit like it's not happening. I mean they shouldn't have it like that. If you're signed up for notifications, give me the goddamn notifications, whether I interact with them or not. I don't mean it I don't mean that it's not happening. I mean it's bullshit. Like they should have never made that policy. That's stupid.
Yeah, I got you. I agree. Yeah, that shouldn't be the deal.
Well, just think of all the milliwatts of power they're saving by not having to send the notifications that people don't read.
Those bastards are just like Amazon. They've got enough money to piss away on stupid shit, but they can't fix their notification system.
Facebook does the exact same thing. They've been the algorithms they have. I've had friends that I've not heard from in forever, and I thought they dropped off Facebook or off the planet, and I go on their thing and see that they post stuff regularly. And it's if you don't interact with them, like he said, regularly, they just drop their feed from you, and you just don't see it.
Yeah, that's just like I just went through, and I had to stop following a bunch of pages on Instagram because it's all the ones that I don't care about seeing when they're posting, but because of the way they've got everything set up on there where it doesn't go in order of post, it goes by popularity. Right. I'm missing half the people's that I want to see.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird. Because normally I would just go under my, you just go under the notifications heading or whatever on your phone, and I would just scroll through there to see what I missed. And I forget sometimes that there's tons of stuff that isn't on there, and I go under my, then you go under your subscriptions or whatever it is. Subscriptions? Yeah, subscriptions. And I'd be like, oh shit, there's that, or oh yeah, I forgot, or somebody went live and I didn't know. It's so dumb. If you don't want to, you click the bell so you get notifications. If you don't want to click the bell, then don't click the bell. But if you click the bell, give me all the information I want. It's just as weird. It's like it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of situation.
Right.
Jumpy's having all sorts of problems out there.
I am the good cornholio.
Flesh basement.
He said his flesh bait. He said his flesh basement is leaking in the gases. and the gas that's coming out of there is real stinky. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He said, I'm farting a lot due to eating pork and beans, and it really stinks. Hashtag flesh basement.
That's I thought it was some type of sexy gun.
What the hell is wrong with you, man?
I'm allergic to
What's wrong with you for reading it out loud on the chat?
Oh, it's right there. It's right there. You can read it anyway.
Hey, Midnight, you mentioned you've been watching.
What do you expect?
Yeah,
that's true.
Hey, Midnight, you mentioned you were watching, or you watched Thunder Ranch with Clint Smith, right?
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Now that you mention it, yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot lately. I probably got unsubscribed or some shit because I haven't seen anything in a while. But yeah,
have you seen?
I do like him.
Have you seen the Raw Clint 6 where it's how to deal with liberals?
I don't think so. No.
So essentially, the whole story behind it, it's only like a 2-minute video, but he was offering a defensive pistol class, and this chick comes up. She's all Texas with the big poofy hair.
Right.
And she drives up and she's got like Save the Whale stickers and all kinds of like hippie bullshit on the back of her truck. And at first he's like, what the hell are you doing here? But keeps training her. And eventually after a day in the class pops up. So what made you decide to come here? And the woman tells the story. She was in the Dallas Mall and 2 guys robbed her and beat the shit out of her. Mm-hmm. So Clint's philosophy on it is this is how you now deal with liberals. You make sure they get pissed. You beat the shit out of them, so maybe they'll decide to get a gun.
Yeah. That's right. Some people, it just doesn't sink in until it's too late, you know?
He's probably, honestly, one of my favorite trainers, because I've gotten to train with him before. I went out to Thunder Ranch, and he is one of my favorite people I've ever trained with. He does it in such an entertaining way. But his entertainment also comes based off of knowledge and experience, and it's actually true stuff. Like one of my favorite stories is when he was telling when he was in Vietnam, and he was a young guy, and he was trying to figure out why this guy was taking a mag every minute out of this water canteen and sticking it in the mag with.
I heard that one, yeah. No, go ahead. Finish.
Oh, yeah. Some of his stuff is just absolutely entertaining, and he doesn't bullshit around on it, which is the nice thing. He's just completely honest with it, and that's why I made a video about I watched one of his videos and went over stuff, but if anybody hasn't, I would highly recommend checking him out because he's an old Vietnam Marine. He really doesn't give a shit. He says it how it is, and And on top of that, he is really entertaining, and he makes a Raw Clint series where he essentially just goes over stuff, and it's short clips, but it's absolutely hilarious to watch.
It's very addictive. Like you start watching them, and you go to the next one, you go to the next one, you go to the next one. You can kill an hour or 2 easy just watching stuff.
Yeah, he says it best because one of the things he was teaching in one of the videos was people are always worried about getting the best sight picture before they fire a shot in a defensive situation. And he says, what's the first thing the muzzle crosses? Someone's crotch. You shoot him in the crotch. And he kept getting comments saying, well, shooting him in the crotch isn't a death blow. I didn't say it was, but it's a good introduction. Hello, my name's Fate, and it's only going to go downhill from here.
Yeah. I like his thoughts on shotguns, too. He said a rifle will put holes in stuff, but a shotgun with the right load will blow chunks off of stuff.
Yeah, handguns put holes in people. Rifles put holes through people, and shotguns blow chunks of shit off of people that you'll have someone come clean it up with a shovel.
That's what it is, yeah. Yeah.
His training philosophies are out there, but they're true.
This is why when I come home every night, the first thing I do is open the gun cabinet, grab the 12 gauge.
Well, it depends.
I mean, it's because you like stroking it.
Oh, I do like stroking it. Oh, you know what, Ellis? I was. You know what, Ellis? This will tell you that I don't hate you. You were talking about buying a bolt gun, right? So I brought my 308 over here in case you showed up tonight and you wanted to see it because I was talking to you about it.
Well, let's see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Midnight Range TM presents to you gun porn.
Gun porn. Here, let's lockify on this. Oh boy, savage.
That is nice.
Yeah. Midnight, did you see the one that I'm picking up? Hopefully, if I can work the deal out.
No.
Let me see if I can pull up a couple pictures real quick.
Yeah.
This is
the heck? Still got the stickers on it?
Yeah, I've only shot
it. Take it out. Did you just take that out of the fun-filled action blister pack?
Yeah, no, I actually shot it once, but I forgot to take the damn stickers off. I was so excited to shoot the damn thing. Got it out to the range and shot it and brought it home, and I was like, oh my god, I never took the stickers off. No, this is a Savage SPCSR. It's a Savage 10 action, right? 308. So it's got this oversized bolt handle, which I could take it or leave it. It's a little bit clunky, but I mean it's heavy. It's got the Accu trigger and the Accu stock. 10-round mag. I put the bipod on the front. It's a UTG bipod, which is nice. It's a heavy barrel, fluted heavy barrel, and it's a VGS Gamma brake. I put on the muzzle brake, which is nice, and it's a Vortex Viper 6x5 or 6.5 by 20, 44 millimeter. It's got the I put a sunshade on it, and it's got a bubble. I put the bubble level on it, which is cool. It's pretty neat. And then the strap is Quake Industries, which are pretty neat because they're like kind of rubbery. Which, if you would have it on your shoulder for a long time, it would be kind of hot. I could see it causing like kind of sweaty or whatever. But it's rubbery, so it grips onto your clothing really well. It doesn't want to slide off your shoulder. It has it comes with a rail on it. It's a 2020 MOA rail, which is nice. So you got lots of room to take it out and adjust the scope if you need to. So I got this. I put it last year. Had it for about a year now, a little under a year. I got the rifle $100 off. They were doing Savage was doing a sale. Put the whole thing together for $1,030, I think.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
And that's with everything. Yeah, that's with everything. That's with cost of the rifle and transfer, muzzle brake, everything.
Well, see, after the verbal lashing I received from G-Webs for not having a bolt action gun,
I heard you got chewed out. Somebody told me you got chewed out.
Oh yes, he gave me a nice little verbal lashing. So
was it the kind of lashing you enjoyed?
No, not really.
With the little red ball and the assholes leather chaps.
No,
now you're talking about them butt flaps.
But I have this. Well, see, I said, okay, I agreed. Okay, I need a bolt action gun. I'll pick up a Enfield 303. He wasn't going for it. So apparently, I've got to get something in a more modern configuration.
Well, for what I'm sharing on the screen, you're definitely not going to want to go after that. I'm still trying to work out a deal with the guy, but this is essentially what I'm picking up. If you guys have watched the TV show Shooter, it's what they call the Black King rifle in the show. And the one I'm looking at is in 338 Lapua.
Mm-hmm.
Completely custom made. I think it's Nisita. Let me go back. It's Nisita.
Action is used for its reliable accuracy and overall quality.
Yeah. And the one that I'm looking at, the guy right now is pretty set on about 4,500. And I'm trying to talk him down a little bit more than that.
Is that a carbon fiber wrapped barrel?
I believe so.
And the one in the middle is fluted.
Yeah, the one in the middle is fluted. I know they do have an option for a suppressor ready barrel. I've ever since I started watching Shooter, I've wanted to pick one of these up because I thought they looked really badass. And I've shot the one that I'm looking at, and it's extremely accurate. And the rifle really doesn't weigh that much, anywhere from 14 to 27 pounds is essentially what they say. But
yeah, I don't know what mine weighs. I should try and weigh it sometime. My rifle's heavy as shit. Man, this thing is a beast. Which it's nice because it's only a 308, and then to put the muzzle brake on it and have it as heavy as it is, dude, this thing shoots like a 223. It has no kick at all. It's crazy. You shoot it all day long.
Yeah, see, and that's what I'm trying to decide right now is if this deal doesn't work out, I want to potentially pick up a Remington 700 and use that action and start building another custom bolt action gun, because I haven't built a bolt gun in a few years. So
yeah,
you can get either the stripped actions or the actions with bolts.
Oh, okay.
There was a good deal not long ago on. I have the deals.gun or the gun.deals or whatever the hell it is. What is it? Gun.deals, deal.gun.
.gun.deals.app. The movie.
Gun.deals. It used to be Slick Guns. There was a barreled action by Howa on there not long ago that was a good price. Somebody was selling it. That would be a good one to build on too.
Howa makes good shit.
I don't own anything in 308 right now, and I think that's what I want to do. I think Megan's got her 223, or no, she's got a 243, and then I've still got, I think, a Savage Axis in 308, and then I still got another 338 Lapua that I built a few years ago. So other than that, those are the only two bolt guns I have, and I need to get some more.
Do you reload?
No, I don't. I have friends that do, though.
That's cool.
Wisconsin finally, for a few years there, we weren't getting a lot of us precision shooters. We weren't having any competitions around, and there wasn't very many people. But as of the last few years, it's really started to peak up. So a lot of us are starting to get more interested in it and starting to go out and do more tournaments. The longest range we have that we can do tournaments on, I think, is at 850 yards right now. But they are actually... They just bought out a bunch of property that was behind them, and they're starting to clear it out, and that should be out to 1,300, I think, is what they said.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So that'll be exciting.
I did this one in 308. I bought this in 308 because I wanted a 308. I don't have a ton of guns so far, like 10 or 11 guns total, but so I'm pretty specific on how I'm like building my
collection.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted a 308, I wanted a 5.56, I wanted a 7.62. There were certain guns that I wanted. I still don't have a 45. I'd like to get a 45. I don't have a revolver. I want to get a 357. There's just, I'm very specific on the things that I want to buy and kind of how I want to buy them. Not so much now that I have the AR. It's from here on out. It's
with money.
Yeah,
right there's what I was thinking about, Midnight.
Well, so Midnight, that's the same thing I did essentially. Is for a while there, when I first turned 21, I was going out and buying guns every week that I'd get paid. I'd be going out and buying at least one gun. And finally, I got to the point where I actually went through and sold, I'd say 90% of my collection, with the exception of a couple handguns and bolt gun, single shotgun, and everything I inherited. But then I even sold off all that stuff to where I had 2 handguns and 1 bolt gun, and I started just kind of building up from there. And now Megan and I, because she's getting more into the different types of shooting just for other purposes other than hunting, we're starting to slowly build stuff up. And after talking with the guys last night, I'm definitely starting to look at building and over buying, because it ends up saving a hell of a lot of a cost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I was pretty lucky. Like when I decided I wanted something long range, something that like you said, I don't have a whole lot of range to shoot it at, but there is a 1,000-yard range in PA. It's not too far away from me. And when I started building this, I got I got the scope for $325. It's like a $500. It's like a $450 scope, as it was last year's. The rifle was $100 off. The muzzle brake I got for like 50% off. I bought a less expensive set of rings and then had them lapped. So, you know, they're real nice. You know, I definitely, even though, I mean, it's $1,000 sounds like a shitload of money for a rifle, but it's a rifle that if I wouldn't have, you know, been careful about where I bought it, would probably be a easily $1,300 rifle or something. So,
well, and that's the big thing is a lot of people they'll go in and spend the money on a lot of the I don't call it useless in a bad way, but a lot of the useless stuff. They don't spend it on stuff that it's important to actually spend a good amount of money on, such as your glass. If your glass is absolute shit, then no matter how much you put into the actual rifle itself, you're going to shoot like shit. And that's a big thing. And I think the bolt action platform in general is something that a lot of people have started to let fall to the wayside because it's been really popular with the AKs and the ARs and your bullpups lately. But I kind of see that a lot of people are starting to come back and start looking at the bolt action guns because with the legislation, there's a chance that they won't be able to get these semi-auto variants of rifles anymore.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of how it was with the AR. Like, I'm not a huge. I said this the other night. I think it was it was the other day on Travis's chat. Caliber Corner. You know, if I do another AR, it'll probably be a 300 Blackout or something like that. Because I'm not a huge fan of 5.56. 5.56 just doesn't like excite me. You know, I either want something super small like a 17, which I don't have a 17, but I would like one, or go bigger and go 30 caliber or better.
Yeah, and that's the thing is everyone kind of gets set on what your general calibers are, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable kind of straying outside of that. Like for some people, it has to be 9mm 40 or 45 for a carry gun. They're not comfortable going to a 380 or looking at 357 SIG, and it's the same thing with bolt guns. A lot of people are stuck on that 308, and then a lot of people are stuck on the 5.56 and 223 for ARs. And it excites me more seeing people build guns that aren't in your common calibers anymore.
Yeah. Outlaw, have you looked at Weatherby at all?
I have.
Yeah. The Vanguards are really nice. I've picked those up to hold them, to feel for them, and they're nice.
Same thing as a Hoa.
Yeah. Yep.
One of these days I'll bring it out. I don't have it in my house. It's at my parents' right now. But one of the guns I inherited from my grandpa was a over-under Weatherby shotgun from the early 60s. And it's all hand engraved and everything on it. It's an absolutely beautiful beautiful shotgun.
Weatherby is to rifle what Kimber's used to be the 1911s.
Yeah, I mean the high end Weatherbys they're amazing. They're gorgeous. They're just when they came out with the Vanguard 2, it was a really good budget rifle. I really seriously looked at them until I got to the Savage. The Weatherby was my number 2. Basically, I was gonna buy a Weatherby. I looked for them. I couldn't find one at the time, and then I started looking into the Savages and just kind of fell in love with this thing. You know, it was just Savage is nice because it has it's almost it's things that. It's the upgrades that are on there for the most part are things that I really enjoy, that I like, that I'm glad they're there. It has the threaded muzzle, it's threaded. It has the 10-round detachable mag. It had the 20 MOA rail on it already. It was everything about it I really liked. So it was a pretty easy choice for me. It was just a matter of getting it.
Well, see, that's the thing. There's so many companies out there right now that's putting out really good budget-minded rifles. The Ruger American series. Those aren't too outrageous, and they're damn good guns.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. If you're just looking for a hunting rifle, I'll tell you what, man. There is a lot of nice budget hunting rifles out there now, with good accuracy. That I mean, you watch videos on them, you do whatever, and Jumpy Killer, what is the oil on a bolt gun do?
Well, it lowers the friction of the moving parts. That's what all oil does.
Earl? Earl?
Put some Earl on that before you burn up that drill, boy.
It's Earl.
Earl.
Earl?
Earl. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the O?
Motor Earl?
Yeah, some motor Earl. So is that a Savage proprietary magazine on that, or is that like Accuracy International?
No, it's a fucking Savage. And that's the one thing about the rifle that sucks is the magazines are not great. People have had issues with them. Not so much that they have issues with them like they don't work. They function well from what I've seen. But I really can't get the 10th round in there. I might be able to if I would load it up and let it sit for a while, I might be able to, but it's a 10-round mag that's like I can get 9.5 rounds into right now, basically. Which whatever. I mean, I don't care. I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. But I mean, I know a lot of guys have bitched about it and sent them back and gotten replacements. They're fucking expensive too. I think the mags are like $50.
Well,
$55, $60. Yeah, they're a lot.
The actual Accuracy International mags are like $70, $80.
Yeah.
Yeah, bolt gun magazines are not cheap unless you go to, well, even the Magpul ones, they're still like $20. But they're good.
Yeah.
I will never buy, we get issued the stick mags for some fucking reason, but we got issued these pro mags for the M&P series. And they're pieces of shit. I mean, I shoot one or two rounds and I have a magazine-related issue.
I have a Pro Mag for my 9mm, and I've never had an issue with it as far as a feeding issue or anything like that. So I try not to bitch about it. I don't really bitch about it too much, but the spring in it is really weak. Like when you're feeding rounds into it, it's really easy to put rounds in it. So it just, and that was right from the beginning. I'm not sure if the spring is just a thinner metal or if it's, if it's just.
Yeah, it's a real chinchy spring. I mean, in the magazine, sure, it's only a $20 mag for a 25 round mag, but still. And then the other thing that I'm kind of frustrated with, and it's like this on both my Gen 1 and my Gen 2 M&P, is the factory magazines, they rattle like a son of a bitch. So now I'm trying to find a good manufacturer for some aftermarket mags because those are fucking horrible.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to head out for the night. Sounds like the old lady's probably getting ready to fall asleep too. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have you. I'll see you next week if you're open. You come and join us again. Yeah, I think we're gonna shut it down here too. We gotta get some sleep myself. I think I've had 11 hours of sleep in the past 3 days combined. I'm pretty wiped out myself. So, yeah, good chat, guys. I appreciate you guys stopping in at a good time today. I think we had a good chat. And then. Fine Ape, if you want to, or why don't we do this? You guys want to do any plugs or say anything on the way out?
Way rallies in Pennsylvania yet?
Oh yes, thank you. The 30th, I did start to talk about that, and nobody in here was from freaking PA, so I think I stopped. But the 30th in Harrisburg at the Capitol, there's going to be a rally put on by the PAFOA, Pennsylvania Firearms Association. There's going to be some really good speakers there. Larry Pratt from the GOA is going to be speaking. A few other people, and it's a chance. It's like a lobbying group. It's a chance to go in and talk to some lobbyists and talk to some reps and and senators and stuff like that, I guess. So if anybody's in the area, Black Cat will be there. I'm going to be there. Coda Boy 32. If you know who Coda Boy is going to be there, and hopefully some other YouTubers. But Monday the 30th, it starts at 10 a.m. Keep your eyes open. Make sure the notifications are on because I'll try and live stream as much as I can. I'm excited. I think it's a good opportunity to hear really good speakers. So that's cool. If you guys want to, why don't you guys give your plugs, your goodbyes, and then we'll have Fine Ape do his outro, which he is so amazing at. Outlaw, what's up? Let's say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. That's it. All right. Next week, Outlaw Storytime. Be here.
I'll be ready.
Be square. Tardot.
Bye, guys, and remember to oil your guns.
Oil them up. Mr. Gizzard Gary, are you still awake, buddy?
GNW 30.
Still awake.
How about George? Is he still awake?
Oh, well, yeah, he's over here sitting on a sofa. After a bug or something. I let one of them flitter bugs in earlier. He's chasing it around the house. He's having a bit of a time. Anyway, thanks for the invite, gentlemen, and everybody have a good evening. We will see you down the road.
Absolutely.
Shall not be infringed.
That's right. No fringes. No fringes. No snap on platypus. Boomer, thanks for coming, man. It was great to have you. You're always welcome, man. If I don't send you a link, if I should forget or whatever, don't be afraid to email me and yell at me, and you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks much. It's been fun. I love getting on these things, and probably the next couple of weeks, hopefully, to start putting up something. I've got the last of my supplies ordered and should be here this week. Start putting out some sort of content. Sarge has got me into it, and I've been wanting to, but he's finally got me talked into it. So coming soon.
Yeah, he's a little bit of an enabler.
Yeah, I've known him for a long time. So I think started junior high school is when we met. So.
Oh, jeez. You guys were riding on the backs of brontosauruses at school, huh?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Just about 10 words a minute.
Had to use an ID.
Well, so thanks for showing up, man. It was great to have you here.
Yeah,
it's a different kind of chat here than most, for sure. So I hope you join us again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just by different, do you mean boring?
Yeah, sometimes it's boring.
Uh-huh.
I don't have the best track record for amazing chats, but what we don't do well in quality, we sometimes make up for in length.
Yeah, well, this is true. But then again, I'm keeping up with you now.
It's not always about girth. Sometimes it's about length.
Yeah, Ellis, and I'll tell you what. One of the things a couple of weeks ago that I told I asked Fine Ape to do was to bang out let's get a little outro for the show, which is nice. I want to talk about the next the next day's shows and things to look out for and stuff like that. And we added Black Cat because he does he does his lunchtime chats and he does his late night chats and all that kind of stuff. And we want you to, if he does one tomorrow, keep your eyes open for it. But we added you today too, because you've been doing, all your late night chats and stuff. So we want to make sure people keep their eyes open for the outlaw chats too. Everybody loves them. You guys have you have some good chats, man. It's a fun time. So we
just
added
a few
you
more
to
F-bombs in your show.
Yeah, just a few.
So, it happened as soon as RL or gunpowder comes in. You can pretty much bank on an F-bomb.
No, yeah, she's a mess, man. She's a virus.
You better keep her under better control.
You're lucky she's nowhere nearby.
Mm-hmm. She finally pass out.
No, I'm out smoking. She's inside.
Oh,
I'm safe. No throat punches tonight.
yeah, she's gonna drive over to Carolinas and slap you in the back of the head.
Just be careful, the outlaw. I might be able to get your address and Uber her over there for you.
11720 Perrysburg Road, Hardyville, South Carolina 29927. There you have it.
Gunpowder. That's
outlaw.
that's inappropriate gunpowder.
Tardot, fuck you. Had to tell her, didn't you?
I didn't say a damn thing. She's just listening in.
Did you hear his voice change, man? He must have sat on his nuts or something.
Yeah, I did actually. I set up.
Yeah, fuck you, Gunpowder.
Gunpowder, we have a priority Uber pickup in the vicinity of Outlaw Hatfield.
There you go. Go and get him.
Yep. He's guaranteed you a couple of $1,000 bills. So.
Well, I wonder what an Uber ride from Texas to Hardyville, South Carolina would cost.
Too much.
The guy on YouTube did one from North Carolina to California. It was $10,000.
Jesus.
He did it. He was sponsored, of course. Some YouTube place sponsored him, or some company sponsored him, rather. But he found somebody to do it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, somebody's gonna pay me $10,000 to drive them across the country. I'll do it. And then if it's to California, I'm turning around and getting my ass right back out of there.
Yeah, nothing about bringing you back. I'm jumping to the state line and see you.
That's what I turned out. You'd take him far enough out in the middle of nowhere for no one to realize, and when he was asleep, he'd drop his ass out in the middle of nowhere.
It was Northern California. At least that's pretty.
Yeah.
Northern California, where the girls are warm.
Gunpowder says, Midnight Outlaw, y'all are jerks.
I love you, Gunpowder.
You guys are jerks.
I love you, Gunpowder. The traffic made me do it.
He's
I'd be
alive.
careful. She's gonna learn to throat punch through the screen.
Gunpowder, did you hear story time? Or were you out catting around? You missed story time.
Gunpowder, she was out in our roll calls chat when you were
See,
doing
that is total bullshit, man.
That is completely unacceptable behavior, young lady.
It is.
We're here making fun of Jonas, and you are not here to enjoy it.
I would bet money that she would jump into my chat if I'd start one up tonight, though.
And you were fraternizing with the enemy.
I know.
Horrible. Yeah, Allison, we're closing it down. You jump.
It's not my fault. Y'all are acting like a bunch of twat waffles, okay? Go eat some
I'm not a
papoose and
twat
filter.
waffle. I'm a twat taco. Thank you very much.
Hey, I apologize. I said I was sorry, and I said I loved you. What else do you want? Blood?
A solid throat punch.
Yeah, from your
On
nose,
YouTube.
probably.
And he ain't lying. He's pretty sorry now, let me tell you.
Yeah, he just remembered he had testicles when they suddenly retracted back into his body.
Jorge says, taco?
Everybody likes taco.
Everybody like tacos. Taco for me. Taco for you. It's okay.
These are my tacos. Go get your own.
It's okay.
Jews eat tacos?
I actually just had Taco Bell for the first time in my life this weekend. I'm
What?
still alive. Yeah.
First time ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mess up some tacos.
I haven't been to Taco Bell in like 11 years.
Yeah, I got their $5 taco box or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We'll say their churro bites or whatever they use as their French fry analogs are pretty damn addictive.
Okay, what you need to do is next time you go back to Taco Bell, I'm going to hijack your show for just a minute. Get you a 7-layer burrito, right? So, some of those taco fries, because those freaking things are awesome. Some sweet tea, and just enjoy.
You may just want to sit on the toilet ahead of time while you're eating those.
I just can't get down on the sweet tea thing from like that. I like iced tea and it's sweetened. You know what I mean? Like I sweeten it, but like that McDonald's stuff, man, that shit is so sweet. I just can't take it, man.
That's because you're a Yankee.
No, it's because it's mass market appeal. You just throw enough sugar in it, everybody will drink it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's midnight being a Yankee. Yankees can't handle it.
No, Yankee can handle his sweet tea. Yankee can handle his fried chicken. I mean, he gave a damn werewolf a handy so he could have some.
That's true.
I wasn't talking about that particular Yankee.
Well, you have to be a little more specific.
I can't believe Gunpowder missed a story where Yankee Marshall gave a werewolf a hand job.
And then got turned into hamburger and urinated on.
Yeah, he got pissed on.
I mean, you have no class, my dear lady.
Hey, ironically, she just told me she totally caught it secondhand. So that's kind of an ironic choice of words there.
Second-handed. Yeah.
Second-hand hand job. So what would that be?
Well, I promise you in my story, there's no hand jobs.
Well, that's a bummer. I don't even know if I want to read it now.
Man, everyone knows sex sells. You got to spice it up.
That's true.
Well, there's a lot of violence, though.
Well, you see, gratuitous violence just isn't the same as gratuitous violence and sexuality.
That's true.
I mean, yes, do people make shitty movies? Yes, but the best ones are, okay, there's a shitload of violence, tits, sexuality, more violence.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the third part of this, which I have not written as of yet, I will make sure there's some sex and lots more violence.
Okay.
Just to let you know, if you write me in, it technically does, under federal law, count as bestiality.
Gary, I'm sorry what I'm going to do to George.
Oh.
Or actually, I'm sorry what Midnight's going to do to George in the story.
No. Oh, not George.
Midnight's gonna do some horrible things to George.
That's just not okay.
I think we can all agree that all George has to do is simply get between Midnight's feet, trip him up, and then once he's down, George just sits on his chest, collapses Midnight's lungs, and he dies.
That's true. Go for the jugular. Rip my throat out. Some sort of wild animal.
He tries to trip me at least 3 or 4 times before.
He would do that once, and I'd step on him. That'd be the last time he fucking did it.
Oh, I need to show you guys this. I haven't seen it.
I don't want to see that.
Keep it in your pants.
The hell?
I got that in the mail yesterday.
Well, there you go. I'm going to be listening to that son of a bitch talk.
Yep. Gun owners of America, so.
Am I just noticing this now, or do you have a fantasy artwork of a dragon next to your tinfoil?
Yes. Yes,
at least
I do.
At least the tinfoil's not on his head this time.
Do you not like dragons? I mean, I love dragons.
No, they're cool. It's just that it kind of clashes with the tinfoil.
No, the tinfoil's there to keep the sun out while I'm trying to sleep during the day.
It's not to keep the little magenta-colored men from reading your fillings?
And government radio signals.
I'm not that paranoid.
Hey, that's nothing to joke about, Ammo. I got the CIA's lunch bulletin for 3 months. Be surprised at how many times government cheese is not on their menu.
Hey, when I was stationed in Guam, there's a thing just off of the Air Force Base they called the Elephant Cage. And you can go on Google Maps and find it. And it's a perfect circle of an antenna array. And I had a buddy that delivered pizzas out there one time, and one of the jerks talked to him about it, just thinking he was just a dumb idiot. And he was actually an Air Force guy working a part-time job. And he said that he told him that they can hear every wireless transmission. Now, this is back in 90, 91. So cell phones weren't a thing, but they could hear every cordless cell phone call. They could pick up any other, radio frequency call, and they could hear regular corded phone call conversations within so many miles away. And there's 4 of those things on the planet, and they span the entire globe. And it still is in operation today. So
I would have thought that what do they call it? That super low or ultra low frequency array up in Alaska that's like 10 miles to a side that they use for what is it? Communicating with our subs, because that, in order to penetrate down that far into the water, it has to be a really low wavelength frequency, like a point or a percentage of a hertz.
Yeah.
So
hurts, don't it?
See, and here I've been concerned about the FBI van that my Wi-Fi keeps telling me is sitting out front.
That's actually what my Wi-Fi name is.
It's G-Webs.
FBI surveillance van. I've got another one that says DEA task force. Keeps the thugs that might be living around you kind of worried if they try to steal your Wi-Fi. What the hell?
You got FBI on one side and free candy on the other.
Yeah.
No, the one outside my door says "Flowers by Irene." I think the one sitting behind it simply has a stencil that says "Ordinary Van."
Ordinary van. Nothing that says "Nothing to see here."
Nothing to see here. Keep swimming.
Keep moving. Keep on moving. Everything's okay.
Just add not a FBI surveillance van.
Yeah. Pay no attention to the man in the van.
Yeah.
Free beer inside.
Free beer.
Okay,
Free hat.
guys, I'm out.
Yep, we're out too.
All right.
Fine, Abe. Do your thing.
Do the thing that I do. The only reason I'm here. All right.
Do it, man. No, that's not the only reason. We love having you here. Now get to work.
Not that. And don't be
Ladies, gentlemen, and Jonases of all ages, thank you for watching Midnight Range TM's The Closer. Be sure to check out gunchannels.com for more Pro 2A content. This concludes our regularly scheduled programming, but we'll be back at 9:30 a.m. Eastern for the Early Watch, followed by open lobbies throughout the day. Also, keep an eye out for Black Cat Outdoors, lunchtime, and Litterbox chats. Our Monday night programming at 8 p.m. Eastern, Clovertax, MOA Monday, and Hawaii Volcano Squad's Locked and Loaded. At 9 p.m. Eastern, Never Enough Ammo, a.k.a. Mr. Matt's Guns and Geeks podcast, The Week in Geek. 11 p.m. Eastern, Outlaw Hatfield's Monday Night Shootout. And every weeknight at midnight Eastern, there's a Daily Gun Show. Remember to be on the lookout for Ellis the Degenerates, a.k.a. the Outlaw Hatfield's Late Night with Outlaw. Also, check out guntube.org as a free, unrestricted Pro 2A video platform. If you like what you see over there, go to Patreon and pay their bills for them. And remember, keep your guns earled and your chambers loaded.
Earl them up. Got to get them Earls going. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. I'm going to shut this sucker down.
Bye.